Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 4 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Bangladesh region. Of course, before we get started, a huge shout out to our lovely sponsors. That's Oppo Reno 5. My name is Fixis, joined by Necro. And well, Necro, yesterday we did see teams like Blood Legion really kind of going off the charts with the way they were playing. But today we have different teams from different groups in contention. So what are you looking forward to?
I mean, just like Blood Legions played yesterday, like they were absolutely just dominating the field and just getting anyone who were in their way. So today also I want to see some like dominated gameplay from Bangladeshi teams for sure.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you talk about the Bangladeshi region, you know, there's a huge segregation that I'm looking forward to. You know, you've got those teams that are playing really well, and there are a few teams that are, you know, are relatively new and aren't able to perform. So what do you think they must do today in order to get those points back? Because we are now just remaining with a few handful number of games.
Exactly, indeed. It's definitely going to be a lot more harder to get all those points back in their hands, because the way all these teams played yesterday was definitely remarkable, and they were just absolutely fragging out and farming everyone that was in their way. So it's definitely going to be a lot more harder and a lot more kill-favored games today.
I mean, of course, you've got to go for those kills because, you know, the number of matches, they're just, you know, a few picky ones, like 3 or 4 games remaining for all these teams. And right now, you know, if we have to talk about things, what are they fighting for? Of course, the road to PMPL. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at those slots that are in here for takes. So right now, we've got 3 teams from the Bangladeshi region that will be qualifying from over here. So we've got 32 right now. From here, 16 teams will be going on to the next stage. That's the regional finals, where we have a couple of invited teams also going to play there. So from that, only 3 teams they are gonna go for the PMPL.
Indeed, it's definitely going to be a lot more harder to secure those top 3 positions. But yeah, also you will have to try your best and try to frag out as much as you can and just try to contest and try to survive in those late zones also.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're talking about surviving in late zone. We do see that happening as well. I mean, especially in the Nepali region, where we've seen a lot of teams right up until the 20th minute. We have 16 teams remaining. But now, what is on the line? The money that we are talking about, the prize pool over here, ladies and gentlemen, that's $29,200. And of course, the first position receiving the major chunk of it.
Exactly, indeed. I mean, just the standard way of the prize distribution going over here. Those top 3 positions are the main positions that everyone wants to aim for. But of course, not everyone's going to be able to get there. It's going to be a lot much more harder than you think.
Yeah, of course. Now that we're talking about, the different groups, that's Group B and Group C in contention over here. There are few teams that we've known of that are, relatively really good. They've been showing good performances. And from them, any team that you really want to watch out for?
I mean, yeah, there are certainly a lot more teams. I mean, I'm not going to just be going and favoring one team over here because I know there are a lot more teams that we haven't been expecting to play. And sometimes they just give us an absolute surprise, an absolute just stunning blow. And we're like, oh my God, this team is an absolute just blaster, So, yeah, we might just witness some surprises over here.
Yes, and we've been talking about the kills, we've been talking about the position. So how do you get that? Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the points distribution table that we have for you. And so for the winner, we have the 15 points over here. Whoever gets the chicken dinner, so on, reduces. And we've been telling about this for a lot of times. You need to be in those top 5. You need to get a few kills, like 3 or 4. You're good to go. 10 points, 12 points average per map. You are through to the regional finals. I mean, it might look very easy, Nick. But practically it's kind of difficult.
Exactly, indeed. I mean, we have seen so many teams like getting those chicken dinner, but at the same time, they are falling less on those points as well.
Yeah, of course. Now let's take a look at the groups that we have lined up for you. That's Group B and C, and we'll take a look at the teams that are going to be playing. So, Golden Stallions Esports is definitely one of the names that I really want to look out for from the 4 names that we've seen because they've been doing so well. But as we move along to Group B's other teams that we have, NRG, Grim Reaper, they come with a lot of promises.
Indeed, we have seen how Daddy was being playing since the last 2 games. Like, Daddy was just absolutely farming everybody, and we saw those 1v3 moments coming out from Daddy. We definitely did not expect him to pop off that well in those kind of situations. But yeah, as I was talking about, we are going to be getting some blaster, just like surprises all across the way. So yeah, I'm definitely a lot more interested to see how they're going to be playing out.
I mean, even if you're talking about Daddy, we cannot disregard Astro. He's also one of those players, he's been shining out in those moments. But, those were the few initial glimpses that we did get to see. They did sparkle, but they sort of, faded out for a while. So they need to get those points rolling in their favor today. So, yeah, KSX, another one of those teams that we have got our eyes on. And Bhai Brothers, I mean, this is a squad. This is a band of brothers that we've been talking about. They've been doing a lot of, different things, trying to block off the shelter areas, trying to, poke at the other teams. So, that's kind of, really, really sketchy as to what their real intention is. But before we get started, we need to take a look at the storyline that's online for us. Then that's the overall ranking. And so we can see XP Blood Legion, ERZ, TRZ Esports, and XEVSC. These 3 teams have been playing so very well.
Indeed, it's definitely going to be a lot much more harder to get them down from those top 3 positions because if you want to get there in PMPL, you have to get those top 3 positions. But we already know XB Blood Legions have frozen their spot on the top leaderboards as well. So with like those massive ranking and massive numbers coming in there, it's definitely going to be a lot much more tougher to get all these teams down, and you will have to get those kills essentially, or even in early games. Of course, it's better if you're going to be getting those kills in early games because that's going to be favoring you a lot much more in those late games, because we have seen some teams who have actually gotten the chicken dinner, but at the same time in those overall match rankings they haven't been showing up on the top because the other teams have just farmed out absolutely well.
Yeah, of course. And now, you can take a look. Gods Reborn, Predator, XBet, and then we have NRC Cream Reaper. So they've all played 4 matches, and today there's a good chance that they're gonna, if they play well, they might just head into maybe the top 10 or at least on the top 16. So that is acceptable for them. Golden Stallion Esports, again, another of those teams. You know, they've been consistent in terms of kills and position points. But this is a team from which I have huge expectations from. But then you take a look at CNC Genocide X that were completely lost because they've played all their 8 games for now. So they're going to go bottom as the games keep on increasing because the other teams that are just below them might just take a rise.
Indeed, I mean, anything can happen. We have seen so many surprises even yesterday from Bangladeshi region, especially how can we ignore the fact that XP Blood Legion was just absolutely farming. I'm a massive fan of that team, but if we stop talking about that CNC, as you pointed out, yeah, they were definitely struggling a lot much more yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to talk about the games yesterday, I think XCVSE is also another of those teams that we, did look out for. And they've been consistent throughout, courtesy to which they did manage that, the third position over here. But right now, we've been seeing all these maps, the same maps overall. So now let's take a look at the schedule and see what we have lined up for you guys. And it's going to be an Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, and Erangel yet again throughout the regional finals that we have.
Exactly. Pretty standard map poll as we saw. And as always, Sanhok is definitely going to be a lot much more claustrophobic map to watch out for. But also Miramar is going to be showing us a lot much more tactical gameplay, and those early rotations will be coming in. And of course, all the teams want to survive in those late games. But also at the same time, it's much more better if you are getting off to farming start in the early off, because then later on you might get contested from any areas or any angles. So it's definitely going to be a lot much more harder for you to watch all over across the place, because in those small circles, as the zone shrinking, you will of course have the pressure building in of getting inside the circle, but at the same time a lot much more teams are also going to be firing at you. So I feel like firing in the just early off is just better.
Yeah, of course, and we were talking about Erangel. Let's just directly head into the game and see where the flight path trajectory is going from. There you go, Stalber to its military base, a kind of an eastern shifted flight path, so as to say. But you know, one thing that I'm really going to complain about is that we are having the same repetitive circles. That's on towards the eastern side. We've seen a lot of Yasnaya, we've seen a lot of Mansion, we've seen a lot of Shelter. So I really want to see something maybe this time happening around the Gatka area.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, there have not been a lot more teams dropping in the Gatka area because, of course, the loot is limited over there. And you cannot be looting up for all your teammates, which are going to be 4 players. Of course, the loot is not going to be enough for you. So, yeah, I mean, it does make sense why a lot of teams are not going for Gatka. But at the same time, there are so many small compounds that you can actually capitalize on and get that loot fulfilled in.
Yeah. Now, we can see over here the players of Bhai Brothers. They're heading on towards the western side, right? So we also have even the players of Team Wolves. So this is also one of the teams that we will be talking about, because I think they're heading on down south. So a lot of teams, I think God's Reborn, I can see. Maybe they're making a move towards the Novorepnoy area. So we did see the glimpses in the past when this team went against, I guess, Team CNC Genocide. So they did lose a couple of players early on. So they would definitely want to avoid that. And finally, my prayers have been answered. This is the circle that I was looking out for. This brings a lot more, complexity to the game, because there's a lot of things happening. If it's a rune circle, or it just might go on towards the northern side. If it goes there, a lot of teams would be around those bridge areas, trying to block off the teams trying to move in. So teams are going to be confused as to where the circle is going. But by the looks of it, I sort of predict somewhere around the runes or maybe Gatka.
Indeed. I mean, as you guys are taking a look at the circle, it's actually a really beautiful circle. If we talk about that, it actually covers a lot much more land. And yeah, of course, the teams are going to be happy about the circle. But also at the same time, we see an early fight engaging over here. And AGX, T9 Dragon, seems like he is not going to be stopping. And he gets the first blood in the game. Beautiful stuff coming in from this team.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And right off the bat, they're doing so well. So we got Dragon. He's just barely surviving with 20% HP. He's got nothing to patch himself up. So I think this is something that we've been expecting out of the Bangladeshi region, and they've been delivering, right? They've been so aggressive right off the bat. If they spot someone down, they are going for the knocks, and yes, getting those few early points certainly does help in the later stages of the game.
Indeed, it does help in the later stages of the game. As we were talking about, you should definitely farm out in the early stages of the game. But as we also see, a lot much more teams have been landing near Milta and just the mansion area. They are going to be having a tough time rotating inside the circle because that's definitely the incomplete opposite side of the circle. So yeah, they might have to contest those vehicles. And not just one vehicle would do it, because all of your squad mates are going to be in one vehicle. It would be way much more easier for the enemy to spray you down. So yeah, you will have to get those at least 2 or 3 vehicles in your hands so you can just get that easy rotation, and even if one of your vehicle gets caught, the other teammates are safe.
Yeah, right now this is a team that I've got a lot of hopes on first. You've got KSX in the past tournament, and in fact in the local tournament that I was casting, this team played really well even throughout the scrims. So yeah, this team does have the potential, does have the players to carry it on. But what they're lacking here is getting caught off guard in situations that they usually would not like to. But that's the beauty of a battle royale, because unexpected things happen and you need to be prepared to tackle it.
Indeed, of course, unexpected things will happen as you go on and progress inside the game. But at the same time, there have been so many teams also actually able to get those things or able to get those RNG factors easily capitalized, because it also comes down to your experience and how much you have played the games. Yeah, sometimes there are circles repeating themselves and repeating the history. So yeah, it also depends on how much time and experience you have inside the game as well.
Yeah, now we've seen a lot of teams just, kind of traversing around the map. But
Oh my
look at
God.
Flint. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my God.
That was a bad knock onto its Vizzy. What was he even thinking? Just, ramming down the vehicle, kind of being oblivious about the position of Team Martis. And this, I believe, is happening onto its southern side. In fact, just the northern areas of the military base. So, right off the bat, we're looking at teams that, going after each other. And it's going to spell trouble, for all these teams losing out on those early numbers. Now they need to retreat somehow, but how are they going to do that?
Indeed, it's definitely going to be a lot much more harder. But as we see, there's a fight happening, and there goes one of the Martis member down. This is going to be a lot much more unfortunate for Martis there, because losing a teammate just like that and actually getting the trade off the other team, which is the enemy team, they are definitely going to be a lot much more happy. As we see, the enemy team is just contesting and just trying to surround the whole team Martis, and there comes the Uzi spray down, but doesn't seem like going to be connecting any shot. But we see Bappy taking one of the Martis players completely down and also finishing him out. Martis is in a massive world of trouble. They are absolutely doomed.
Yeah, they certainly are right now. But we've seen this team, Squad BD71, doing so much in between those games. So we've got Flint. And he's kind of off position, but look at Brawly. He just goes charging in right onto its ninja, instantly knocks him off and finishes him before he even could realize what is happening. So now this is the problem with taking those early fights. You do not have a lot of loot to work out with. Had Zossis had been in a better position, had he had a few frag grenades or a smoke to work out with, he could have done relatively better.
Indeed, they could have done a relatively better, but I feel like Martis is just playing way too passive in this fight. While we see their opponents, doesn't seem like they're going to be having any kind of chill. But as we talk about Flint, it's down to a really low HP, but at the same time, BD71 does have 2 of their members knocked down, and they are going to be a lot much more disappointed. Also in a little bit of trouble. So yeah, they need to get both of their teammates up, but at the same time, Flint is down to a really low HP, so it's not going to be a lot much more trouble for the enemy team there.
It certainly isn't going to be right now. But, at this point, I don't think that Flint would want to engage with them. But at the same time, one Rafi needs to get back, and that's its time that he has to strike, and he misses those shots. It's pretty much done. And if one Rafi just takes a peek right on from this, the kind of edge that he is, he could just easily get that squad wipe. But, if Flint makes it close, and if he connects those shots, no, it's pretty much a goner right now. The numbers are increasing. This was his time to attack, but he did not really utilize it, and has put himself in a very bad spot where he cannot just get out. So he basically caged himself. But he's trying, yeah, he's still trying, to find some kind of an angle. But will he succeed though?
I mean, him succeeding, the chances are pretty low, as we were talking about. Yes, I was certainly right. Rafi is going to be taking him down, and there goes the first elimination. It's going to be Team Martis. We have been saying Team Martis playing so good even in the past. Like, I don't know what exactly happened over here. They just got contested so early on.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at the circle, now we can see, all these teams are starting to rotate. This is looking really promising. And, that's a good thing about these teams, that they're fighting early on, just because that in those final circles you get that breathing space, right? I think that's the only advantage that they can have. They can have more of the map control that we talk about. So now squad BD71 just coming out, eliminating the other team that we had right in front of our screens over there. So that's troublesome now. Marches, they're done. They've had a bad start. That now they just need to cool down a bit. Now they just need to understand the fact as to how they're going to approach, because these two teams have never played against each other. These are groups B and C we're talking about. So a lot of drop collisions that we can see. Even the players of Bhai Brothers and RNRZ, they're in the same position. So we might expect a fight, but at the same time, you can always dodge that, because the area per se is so huge over there.
It did. We have been seeing a lot much more clash between BP and NRC since the past few times, and I feel like they just have an old rivalry coming into this game. But also at the same time, if you take a look at Team 1971 XS, they seem like they are also in close, like really close encounter of another team. But as we also talk about that, there are so many teams rotating inside the circle. As you take a look at the map, there is just everyone using those vehicles, and it seems like HyperX does have their cars, but it seems like they're going to be only contesting that one car, and all of them are just going to be sitting inside that one car, so they're going to be having a lot much more trouble getting inside the zone.
Yeah, but right now this circle, the way it has shifted, has made things even more interesting. Now it's a 50-50%. You've got that northern area, you've got that southern area. Teams haven't really controlled ruins right now. We've got one team on towards the church, but that's just about it. So many ridges to play around with. So as the game kind of goes on, we'll have a better idea as to what these teams are up to. But right now, we've got the players of Chase Evolution, a team that really started off well. But, their woes kind of continued because they could not really keep up with the, kind of the flow of the game. So, yeah, pretty much a silent thingy going on around the map. So, wait a second. Hold on. Are they going to engage? Because they find some shots, thus revealing the position. Is it just to kind of scare the opponent off?
No, there's actually a door inside the building there that you can actually break down if you just keep on shooting at over there. And there is some.
Open it.
Yeah, like it's like you either throw a nade or it's like you either just keep on shooting it and the door will actually just burst open. I think so. It's something like that. Since what I've seen, there is a door there. I'm pretty sure. But at the same time, take a look at the airdrop one. It's gonna be AUG. It doesn't really seem like anyone is gonna be a lot much more happy to get that AUG in their hands because it's just a common weapon. They're you can use the M4 just to as better as AUG at the same time. But yeah, AUG does have that less recoil a little bit as we talk about. But I mean, you can still use the M4. I'm pretty sure a lot much more people are used to the M4 than AUG. So,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, the thing with AUG is the only reason that I would really go out for is because, of course, reason one being less attachments. Reason two, you get a lot of more stability with that weapon. So your sprays are going to be precise, your sprays are going to be accurate over that mid to long range distance. So yeah, I mean, it's still the kind of loot drop that I would not like to have. I would rather prefer an MK14 or maybe an M249 or maybe the Groza. So any day before over the AUG, or even if in contention if you're talking about the AWM. So we've seen that put into use very rarely because bolt action meta, like we've been talking about, has certainly not been there. But there's one player of Team Carnage and Snipe YT. He's been hitting those bolt action shots really, really well across in the Nepali region. So few players always will be there that really love that. Even if you talk about the Chinese teams like 4 Angry Men, we've got Hasaki, who's an impressive sniper. So it kind of is very specific, but at the same time, I would love to see teams actually going in for those airdrops.
Indeed, yeah, of course, who wouldn't love to see teams using those airdrop unique weapons? But at the same time, yeah, it's going to be a lot much more harder to contest those airdrops because, yeah, most of the airdrops are in open grounds. And if you want to go there, it's going to be you are going to be 50%, risking your life 50% and just focusing on the airdrop and trying to get it in your hands. So, yeah, it does make sense why a lot of teams do not like to go for the airdrop. But at the same time, look at the circle shift, a massive shift coming in over here. And the hillside, whichever team's going to be be contesting and taking the hillside control is definitely going to be a lot much more stronger. And seems like Wolves is going to be the one getting the hillside control. And yeah, it seems like they're going to be racking up a lot of kills as the game progresses on.
I mean, I kind of like the fact that they've gotten that high ground, but I think that's where they do not want to be right now. Because considering the fact that, you've got that Everest control, but you know that the circle is going to shift, and the moment it shifts away from you, you've got to get down. That's where everyone is going to spot you out. But we have the players of Bhai Brothers in the best possible position, and, well, Team SLX did want to try to contest for that. Gentleman already taking some heavy beating out there from Finisher, who's lobbied that grenade and I think would want to secure that kill for himself.
Of course, that indeed is the first point for him and the first ever point for their team. So SLX GR is definitely in a lot much more trouble there. Now, gentlemen, we have seen that man just absolutely frag out in the previous tournaments. So I feel like he is one of the most important players, as I would like to point out. Yeah, he is one of the most important players to keep you alive, but at the same time, if you're going to be losing a player like him, your team is going to be in a lot much more trouble in those late zones, because you need to absolutely frag out. You need to kill those teams which are going to be in your way while you want to get that chicken dinner in your hand. So yeah, I feel like losing Gentleman is a massive loss for them.
Yeah, it is. But now, look at this thing right now. We've got the players of Max, they've been kind of silent, but, this is the team, NRZ, that we're talking about in contention over here. This is the team that has the frag potential. But, those late rotations coming out, I won't blame them, because the way the circle shifted, they were not prepared for it. And the moment they made it so far, a lot of teams had already rotated earlier. So now it all comes down to Daddy and Zero to sort of carry their team over and get a good position point, because now if they are going to face elimination over here, they're going to get nada, 0 points.
Indeed, they will get 0 points, but NRZ is a team which is not going to be staying quiet in those late circles as well, because the Daddy is still alive. He can just turn things around in their situation as always. But if we also take a look at NRZ, they do have a massive compound in their hand. They do have the 3-story building coming in their hand, so they are going to be getting the king size, just the high ground in their hands as well. So yeah, Daddy will make something possible just happen, something happen all over the place. But as we still talk about NRZ GR, Cloudy is still down behind the puck. He's just suffering from his death. He knows he will bleed out no matter what, because his teammates are not going to be coming for him. So yeah, he just doesn't really want to die. But at the same time, he can just give his kill away to any other kill if he just wants to grief. I guess he can actually just grief and give his kill away to BB there.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look over here, so I still feel now tides are going to change, because now the players of God's Reborn have gotten themselves the best position, because look at the circle shifting a bit down south, and they've got that squad house. They've got a lot of vision coming out from there. They can take down teams who are trying to invade, but now we've got the players of 1971 going after CSR. So in the blink of an eye, 2 players have already been taken down, but that's at the same time, they've got to be very careful, because from the back lines, we've got other teams even shooting at them. How are the revives going to come in? Now, we've got Sidekick, who's got that flank angle, who's got that control over the visit tower, but he's alone right now. And the moment he steps out, that's when the players of God's Reborn are going to strike at him.
Of course, they will be indeed striking at him, but at the same time, Sidekick is the only one alive for their team, so he doesn't seem like he's going to be taking those risks and trying to get those fights. At the same time, I just feel like at this point, his main goal is just to secure the survival points for his team and get those positioning points in his hand. But as we talk about 1971, Alpha is also down to a really crucial moment of his life over here, because he and his teammate, which is going to be Dark Kid, are only the 2 people who are actually alive over here. So they now have everything in their hand. The whole team reputation is in their hand. Now, if they want to actually get in there and try to get those survival points in, they will have to survive, and definitely it's going to be a lot much more harder when you have the teams rotating from behind, from your behind. So it's going to be a lot much more harder when you just get contested from your front and the back as well.
Taking a look at the prayers of Predators, Fahim taking a lot of beating down there up until the point he was deleted from the lobby. But Stalker, he's just gone inside the water, which kind of makes things even worse. But at the same time, now this comes down to the players over here of Max. you know, either they just commit, because if they do, they might just get that kill onto its stalker, but might also expose themselves to a very unwanted position from where they can be taken down from different teams that might spot them in the open.
Exactly, indeed. I mean, if you take a look around, you know, there's just teams everywhere. You are surrounded with teams everywhere when the zone's shrinking smaller and smaller. When there are a lot of teams next to you, you definitely do not want to be in open ground, as we saw one of the players there just running in the open ground. Doesn't seem like he's going to be scared at all, but as we talk about Max, this man is just not scared of anything. He's just going to be throwing that one smoke for a temporary cover there, and still just going to be running inside. It doesn't really seem like anyone's going to be firing at Max, but at the same time, there's so many fights happening between BB and Hyper team. There are just so many fights contesting around everywhere. There are people everywhere. It's going to be a lot much more harder for teams to just look around all over the place. So it's going to be a lot much more harder to see how these guys are going to be coming out on top. While Hyper wants to just contest on Team BB all across the place.
Yeah, they certainly want to do that, but right now we've got the players of Hyper already pushing in. My brothers in a bit of a situation though, because now they're applying so much pressure. Leo with that Molotov trying to flush out, trying to, you know, get the sound cues going in for himself. But Siddharth, he's burning up until the point he might just get knocked out, but no, he survives with that sliver of HP, and this is the right cue for Alert to go with the push.
Barely surviving on 5 HP there, so that is definitely going to be a lot much more disappointed in just burning there like a chicken. But at the same time, Hyper is right below them. They want that blood. They know there are only 2 people alive, but as we talk about Alert, it's going to get third party from another team there. Unfortunate circumstances coming over there for Hyper there. What a unfortunate moment there. Max is going to be third partying Hyper, and Hyper is in a really bad spot as well. Now BB have the same advantage over here coming inside this fight. Now BB can actually make something happen here.
You know, but the fact is that they have to get inside the circle, and with Max coming right from the back lines, this is going to be so much more difficult. You've got to feel bad for the players of Team Hyper. You know, Leo, he was just cooking a grenade, but who took the beating out of his was his own teammate, who just got deleted over there. But now the push comes in. Siddharth just marching in, trying to take down players one after the other, and Pi Brothers kind of eliminating Hyper Gaming over here. But right now, look at the players of Golden Stallion. They're still alive, but they have taken a dip inside those waters. As we can see, the players of PSR, Mad Max, lobbing that grenade in. Rhinos right from the car. He's gonna get eliminated over there. And a beautiful, beautiful nade coming out from Mad Max, but he spotted down another player. How is he gonna approach this one?
Exactly, indeed. NRZ, Grim Reaper getting eliminated from the game there. Unfortunate stuff coming out there. They did have those only 2 teammates alive in those early games as well. Losing those teammates has definitely been showing so many unfortunate stuff for them. But at the same time, NRZ did try their best to survive in the game. But as we take a look inside this whole circle shrinking down, there are so many fights happening all across this play. There are a lot much more teams who wants to cross this bridge as well, but it's going to be a lot much more harder as we take them all are taking the underground way, which is going to be the water. They all are just swimming across all over the place as we take a look. Some of the teammates are spotting each other. Also, like, they are also seeing the enemies just rotating inside, and it's going to be a lot much more funny situations.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be, because Wolves, they're even on action right now. And Mad Max, he spotted a few players over there. And AGT9X, they're in a whole lot of trouble right now. They're right in the open the moment the vehicle explodes. And it's absolute chaos over here. And this all came down to the circle, right? This all came down to how the circle took those curveballs on. And he's paying a lot of attention, because the moment he kind of, you know, takes a plunge, he might just get spotted. With that being said, Sauce 971 take an early exit.
Unfortunate for Zoss there, but at the same time, there's so many teams rotating inside. I am so excited to see how these guys are going to be playing out. There's been smokes thrown, even in the water. They haven't even left the water for using the cover there. Now, smokes is definitely one of the most important utilities when it comes to those end circles, but as we talk about that, also one more team getting eliminated. That's going to be Chaser Evolution.
Yeah, of course, Chaser Evolution. The way they started things off, we felt that they might, you know, be a bit shaky, and now finally they're done. Golden Stallion Esports also falling short because of, of course, the waterways that they did opt for. But look at Vexy's getting kills one after the other, but he still needs to get inside that circle. Lot of teams have to go in, but how are they going to do that? That's the bigger question. They cannot choose their vehicles anymore. They cannot take that bridge path, so they've got to find some way out. But White Brawly taking a dig at Finisher, and Siddharth, he's the last player surviving. surviving by brothers who were initially in a very good position find themselves in the brink of an elimination.
Look at the position of Max. They're just hiding below the rocks, you know, just trying to heal himself back to 100 HP. But at the same time, yeah, there is one more team that is going to be contesting on top of them. They're not going to let them. They're not going to let Team Max out there. But if we take a look, they are also trying to use their utilities. Every single piece of utility is being used in these end circles. Definitely, we're seeing a lot much more smoke grenades used, and at the same time, even normal frag grenades used also is coming well. But as we talk about that, Max with 5 kills and absolute domination coming in from him. He's on a killing spree. But also, as we talk about Predator, Xpit has been eliminated.
Yes, he certainly has been. Wow, that's a beautiful, beautiful phrasing with his bullets that he did. Mad Max, this is a madman right now. He's taken that Fury Road, but he certainly does not look like stopping anytime soon. But up until the point, the players of Max Esports, they're going to do something. That is a beautiful grenade. Hits right on his face, but does not take him down. That's not enough. But this one, he still survives. He is a man made of iron. Nothing really touching him over there. Oh my goodness, Necro, what is happening?
Backing off at the last second is definitely going to be surviving a lot much more. But at the same time, almost gets caught and going to be getting knocked down. Oh no.
Ouch.
We had our eye on him, and oh no, he just falls down. He is crawling his way slowly towards his teammate, but at the same time, his back is also showing up. If King decides to move a little bit to the left and actually take a peek, there might be a fight coming in happening, but at the same time, we take a look. They are getting contested from all over the angles. Also, trades happening over here. So many unfortunate situations coming in for PSR.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it all comes down to Malo. He needs to heal himself up. He needs to get himself back there. But you can see the players of Max Esports that are making that rotation from the waters. Now, if he gets a good angle at him, Team PSR is pretty much dead over there. But they somehow spot him out. Yeah, and King goes down.
Oh my God, PSR is in such a beautiful spot right now, but at the same time, there is a raise happening as well. So now he has to move inside the circle and stop that res happening. He's not really going to be carrying the res his teammate there because he knows it's all down to him now. If he wants to survive, he needs to get inside the zone, and he's going to be stopping the res. Also, at the same time, the zone's going to be deducting so much damage, so all these players are forced inside to move. So there are so many damage happening, while Wolves is also getting contested by another squad over here. As we talk about, there are just absolute claustrophobic situations happening. As we talk about that, Max Esports has been eliminated.
Oh my goodness, what are we witnessing over here? It's pure mayhem going on around. You know, this is an open circle. Now, the circle has sort of shifted towards the players of Wolves over there. Now, they've got another team right beside them. That's Squad BD71. But ALK9, again, having a consistent good start over here and making it to the top 5. That's what we like, right? Look at the number of kills. Squad BD71 with 8, you know. But there you go. Teams getting eliminated over there. And the scene will get the better out of the players of Big Boss X, who were playing really well, have somehow managed to secure 14 points from this game.
Indeed, they have managed to secure those 14 points, but as we talk about, Brawley's also taking a lot of damage behind that cover. Certainly, it's not going to be much more enough, but as we take a look at Jigsaw, just blind firing all over the place, but seems like he does have some information on team players of BD71, but also as we take a look at Wolves, they are in a really sensitive situation over here. Even a little bit of more mistakes, Wolves might be taken down because they have to rotate inside the circle, but at the same time, there are so many people just proning in the open ground. There is no cover. There's only one team for the cover, and if anyone managed to get to that tree, well, they are basically the happy men.
Yeah, they certainly are, but right now, we've still got the players of God's Reborn somehow still alive. It's Yashiro. He's got that experience. He's one with the nature. He's just, you know, proning in, trying to get inside the circle, trying to contest. But it seems like they've been spotted out by Tasin, who is heavily damaging them out. And Yashiro, he's firing back in retaliation. I'm really scared that he might have given away his position.
Exactly, Tassin just blind firing from his M46X right there. Beautiful stuff coming in from him. But at the same time, take a look at SLX GR. You know, they are just next to each other. Beautiful stuff coming in from them. The utility usage is coming in on point as well. But now, there is literally a team in front of them as well, which is going to be Wolves. They have a lot much more less teams, less people alive in their team. It seems like it's just going to be Jigsaw over there. These are the only last 3 people alive. It's a one-on-one situation. I am so excited to see which team is going to be coming out on top, because certainly it's like whenever anyone decides to just like pop their heads out and try to get inside the circle, they are just going to be getting contested and absolutely just melted instantly in seconds.
Whoa, now it's going to get interesting as we are finally in a perfect Mexican
Beautiful
standoff
nade.
that we were talking about. Yeah, that's a beautiful nade. Did give that chip damage, but still has not completely revealed his location over here. Now, another good grenade going out, but that's not connecting. That's way miles off far. But now, Wolves, they just need to really hold themselves because Yashiro and Tassin both need to get back there. But now, this nade might be promising, but no, not doing enough of those damage because lately we've seen that nade nerf coming out on point and not the kind of an damage output that you would expect that you're getting over from here. But Yashiro still continuing the spray, but Tassin, he's gonna fall short to the play zone as we have just 2 players remaining. Who is gonna win this one?
I mean, I definitely feel like Jigsaw might be the one taking this home because he certainly has his own favoring him as well. But at the same time, Yashiro is not a player that is going to be stopping and just saying, oh no, I'm going to let you win this. Yashiro decides to pop out. At the same time, Wolf is taking a little shot at them, and that's going to be Team Wolf, as I was talking about, taking the chicken dinner in their hands. Beautiful stuff coming in from them. Beautiful show.
Oh my goodness, the patience, the perseverance coming out from the players of Team Wolves Black Diamond. I mean, this chicken dinner is going to help them so much, climbing up the ranks. And they were doing pretty bad up until the point now they've managed to finally get the chicken with 7 kills. But look at the damage, it's 1500 over there and 22 points out of this game. So now this entirely game was so hot and spicy. Everything just came down to the final circle that we had. It was an open LAN. It was all about the positioning of the players and how wisely they did take their fights. I mean, of course, now we had Tassin and we had Yashiro going head to head with each other. So that sort of gave the players of Wolves a slight idea as to what they're up to. And the moment Tassin was taken down, I think Yashiro's position was pretty much compromised. He knew exactly where he's gonna come from, and the moment he just stood up to get inside the circle, there he went down. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the MVP and find out who came out on top, and has to be Ironclad.
Indeed, Team Max, we definitely saw them farming so much in those end circles, but at the same time, they did get stuck in a really unfortunate situation there near the sewers there. But at the same time, take a look at this. He has 5 kills. Definitely not like one of those top kills situations over there. It didn't really seem like much frags coming out in that situation. But yeah, 5 kills is a decent amount of kills when it comes to having that MVP spot. At the same time, getting that 766 damage in. Yeah, Clad was just absolutely beating people.
Yeah, he was absolutely beating people. But one of the other players that really impressed me was Mad Max. With the way he was going on after squads after squads. Of course, they had a rather unlucky time when they were just pushed over by the players of Max Esports. But they did a pretty decent job, at trying to survive. They did manage to garner a lot of kills. And this time it was just not that one team that got a lot of kills, but it was the other players as well. Everyone sort of chimed in and joined the fray and got all those kills. Now let's take a look at the other top players that we have apart from Ironclad over here. So of course, Max, Jigsaw and Tassin. Jigsaw had a major role because he stayed on till the end. He ensured that Team Wolves walk off with the chicken.
Indeed, Jigsaw did try to do his best in the end there, but at the same time, yeah, he was the only one surviving from Team Wolves, so he might have that pressure building up on his back. But at the same time, he did try to contest that pressure as well as he can, and I'm pretty sure he was pumping those powders in as well.
Yeah, I mean, the lead being dished out and the way they've been playing, and I think this was the kind of a circle that we would love to start off with, because initially right off the bat we saw a lot of teams going after each other, and Martis actually falling short right from the early game, and a lot of mistakes were made. That fight that did happen in those early segments that we had seen, that was unwanted, that was uncalled for, that was kind of unprecedented. We did not see that coming. But now we'll take a look at the match summary and see how the numbers game worked out.
Exactly. Look at the match summary where as we talk about Max with the highest skill. Of course, it's going to be Sadmad with 269-meter longest skill. I mean, it's definitely not that like a far distance as we talk about, but yeah, it's still a decent amount of kill. I mean, decent amount of long distance skill. While we take a look at Clad though with 766 highest damage. Yup, highest numbers coming in from Clad as King with the longest distance travel, and then there comes Sad Mad with those 2 assists.
You know, this was a really good game for the players of Team Max, to be honest. You know, they did everything right? They did travel the highest distance, did get those highest kills, did have the highest damage as well. But it all came down, you know, in those battle royales. It all comes down to who has the better of the final circle. And it was Twin Wolves all along. They were the smarter bunch. And I mean, a lot of back and forth did happen over here. We did see the circle kind of tending to go a bit to its north. That's when we felt that maybe Bhai Brothers might just be having that kind of an advantage, but they were just pushed over. And, you know, in that push, you know, Team Hyper made a lot of different mistakes. You know, they did take out their own enemy, even Max also being a spoil party to that entire fight, you know, getting a few knocks here and there. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the match ranking and see how the Bangladeshi teams have performed in this particular one.
Exactly. Take a look at Wolves. They're securing the first place for themselves. I mean, of course, not those like 22 points isn't really those massive level points if we take a look at the performance from those last time. But also take a look at the second position, having the most kills in the game over there.
I mean, you've got to talk about Max over there. You know, they came in third. They just got those 4 position points, but 12 kills. That's massive. And this is where the new points distribution table really comes in, right? This is where, you know, even if you do not have enough position points, this is exactly the thing that I was talking about. It does not matter you have to win every, chicken dinner in every single game, but you need to make sure you've got those skills to, you know, keep you in bay all the time. You need to be there. And that is what they did. Got those points for them. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the Oppo moments of this match and see how this beautiful map turned out for all these teams.
Indeed. Take a look at this early fight coming in, early fight contestation. Of course, going to be a lot much more disappointed for losing that teammate so early.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this is the fight that I was talking about. A lot of mistakes were made, you know. Why would you you have the entire map to yourself? And this is where the lack of homework really comes in. You need to do your research as to which team goes to your respective drop location, because these were 2 different groups, right? These were teams that, you know, there are chances, you know, if we play in different groups and we both drop at Pachinki. Now today we are going against each other. I know that you're gonna drop in Pachinki. I must be the one, you know, figuring out a new strat, either to tackle you in that position or else find myself a different area to loot. So that's where the research factor comes in, and somewhere, you know, the team's not really having done that, but this nade was mental. He knew, you know, that the player would be inside that. He knew that he could get that knock. Just lobs that grenade into thin air, and yeah, do not question physics, alright? These nades are gonna do a lot of damage, even if you're inside the water.
Of course, they will do a lot much more damage, even in physics. If you take a look at, they are going to be doing the damage, even if you're inside the water. But also, we have been seeing so many M4 blind sprays just coming in with those zigzag, and getting those actually precise sprays on your enemies is a really harder task if you just don't have any vision in front of you, and there's just going to be a lot much more grass. All you're going to be seeing is just you spamming the grass, but at the same time connecting those shots on the enemy and having just like getting the info just based on sound is definitely a massive skill to obtain.
Yeah, I mean, these players have been very, very well acquainted with the M4 6 times, because, you know, it has sort of been the bread and butter weapon of PUBG Mobile right now. Everyone's sort of going for that. You know, all you need is those attachments, you know, going either for those vert grips or maybe the half grips. Depends on the kind of usage that you want to get from this gun. But, you know, still, in the PUBG Mobile arena, you do not see drastic changes coming out from those grips, but it's still important. I mean, if you need those quick ADS, you would rather go for something like an angle grip or something else. But, you know, if you need that fast ADS, also might as well go for the thumb grip. But, you know, that comes into play when you are using those red dots. But, you know, we have these teams actually going with the 6 times, and they do a pretty decent job at just reducing down the scope to its, you know, kind of calibrating it to its 3 times, and then that's just laser for them. So, but what I really want to see is some Beryl sprays. Yesterday, I believe in the Nepali region, we did see a few teams actually going with the AKM 4 times. But today, now let's take a look at the overall rankings as how much this matchup has, you know, impacted the table.
Exactly, indeed. Doesn't really seem like there was a massive impact coming from there because the top three teams are just the same as we have saw, but there are, of course, a little bit of climbing up here as we see Big Boss over there is also in the top 8 situations.
Yeah, I mean, Big Boss, ALK9, they are making their way in. And we've been talking about ALK9. They've been really consistent, even if they're not getting those chickens. They've been there getting those position points and also a few kills backing them up. And making top 3 every single game, that's really a good way to approach. But, God's Rebound, they're finally kind of redeeming themselves. They're getting those position points, now focusing on a few kills. And if they, find a perfect balance between those two, I think they might just be in the top 10 by the end of the day.
Of course, they might just be the top 10 at the end of the day, but also, I mean, there are so many teams, much more we have to wait for fixes, and there can anything be happening because there are still 3 more maps coming in, and the next map is, of course, going to be Sanhok. Even the best of the best teams fall down on that map easily because there's just so much chaos coming in, and I feel like in those end circles, of course, the team that is going to be staying quiet and just trying to rat around is definitely going to be a lot much more successful to survive. But also in Sanhok, the early fights is the thing what I like to see, and I am so excited to see those early fights and early rotations come in as well.
I mean, you've said it, right? This is a game about survival, every team for themselves. So they've got to look out for them because, it does not matter if you've got like 15 kills and then you get eliminated. I mean, it gives you a lot of points, but still, getting that chicken is, of course, sweet. Gives you that extra bit of a confidence to survive in those late circles, and in the long run, it does help you out. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be pushing for a short little break because coming up is the map of Sanhok. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day 4. And, PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021 Bangladesh region has been kicking off with a banger, considering how this Erangel just erupted. And before we continue with our show, a huge shout out to our lovely sponsors, that's Oppo Reno 5. But now let's get back into the discussion that we have Sanhok right now. You did say the teams need to prioritize the circle very well. If they do not do that, they're basically doomed. And we have seen the circles playing games with the heart of the players, with the kind of transition they are taking every single time.
Indeed, it's definitely interesting to see how these guys are going to be capitalizing on those circles as well. But also, you talked about there is going to be a lot much more important to see how these guys are going to be getting in the middle of the circle, because of course it's going to be so much chaos as the map is small. Even all the edges are going to be covered by, almost every single edge is going to be covered by each and single one of the teams. And I don't feel like using vehicles in Sanhok is a really good thing to do. So I just feel like, yeah, vehicles is not a good thing to do, but so how are these guys going to be contesting those middle compounds areas?
I mean, let's just head into the game and check for ourselves, because that's how we're going to get the answer at this time, the flight path trajectory, heading all the way down below from Camp Charlie towards Mong 9. So I've been telling this a lot of times, does not matter where the flight path is heading towards. You can go anywhere on this map, wherever you want to. Even if you want to go towards Camp Alpha, you can do that as well. Just need to parachute a bit longer.
Even a hot team position isn't really hard to contest. But at the same time, which is my favorite compound to drop over here, or which is my favorite spot, it's going to be Kampong for sure. It is such a good spot to drop. Like, there are at least one or two teams over there. Like, it's not a lot more cluster. While at the same time, there is really good loot and so many buildings for cover. So you can just also play around and try to get the early info on the enemy teams. And and then just work around it. If you want to fight, you will fight. If you don't want to fight, you can just back out.
See, now this is where the problem comes in when you're dropping off at Kampong. Once the circle kind of goes away from you, now you've got a lot of teams over there. Look at KSX. Now we've also got AGT9 over there. So the moment, the players of Wolves try to get in, they might just get third party. So now that we've got a circle somewhere centering around Painan area, now there's a lot of hills behind it. So a lot of teams would want to take control over that. But as we speak, we've got a fight breaking down between the players of Team Pi Brothers, and of course that's Team 1971 ZOS that we're talking about.
Indeed, 1971 ZOS has been a team that is been showing up lately, and especially if we talk about Dark Kitty, yeah, this man has been we are saying his name, of course, up there. So yeah, of course, we have a lot much more expectations from both of these teams, and yeah, Bhai Brothers, we don't it's like they don't need much more recognition. They are already so famous, I feel like, at this point. Everybody just knows their name.
I mean, the band of brothers, as we call them, and they've been playing fairly well. This is a team that, is kind of going YOLO, and imagine going YOLO kind of sort of works out for you. They've been racking up those position points and those kills also, so they're kind of in the middle of things, but they're looking confident, and this is the kind of a gameplay that I would really enjoy from the teams, because they're kind of enjoying themselves within. The pressure is obviously there, but they are still committing for those fights that they need to do so. But now, well, Zombie, he's at the second rotation over here. And now this is a tricky approach. Now they've got the central compound, that's Bhai Brothers, and the third rotation. And what do 1971 Resource have to play around is those first and the second rotation compounds. So it's going to be interesting as to who gets that first knock, and nades are going to be very essential in that fight.
Of course, nades are going to be very essential indeed. But also, as we take a look at CSR, they have the whole Camp Bravo on their name. They can be looting as long as they want, but also take the zone under consideration, please. And yeah, loot around it. But also, that's a lot much more time as we see the zone moving in. Yeah, of course, they're going to be having a lot much more time. If we take a look, there's still 1 minute 40 seconds in the clock until this first zone is going to be moving.
Yeah. Now, we've got the players over here of Team KSX. And, well, I've got to say it, man. They kind of need to step it up on this one. But now, look at the team over here of Big Boss. So this is one of those teams that has also been regarded as one of the consistent performers. Now, they've got their early drop in. They've got their loot going in for themselves. And they've spotted down the players of Max. Now, Max did create a lot of trouble for different teams, backstabbing them from the behind and getting those knocks. But King, well, I believe he's spotted someone in the nearby fray. He's looking at that direction. The moment the players over there of Team Big Boss come in close, that's where they're gonna strike.
Of course, they will strike indeed, but it doesn't really seem like any of the teams want to contest those early fights in because we haven't really seen anyone dine up so early yet. So, of course, I want to see those first bloods coming in as fast as they can because I'm a person who likes aggression myself, so I really want them to fight so bad, but at the same time, I don't have any other choice than to just sit here and watch them until they're going to be looting. And yeah, of course, it's going to be it's going to be a fantastic journey and an entertaining journey to watch them loot because I also want to see how these guys use their guns, at the same time which guns they prefer in which kind of scenarios in long range and close range. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot much more exciting. While we also take a look at this, 1971 XS is in a fight, a Dark Lord, not really taking any shots, but at the same time seems like BB is well aware of his situation and his position. So yeah, they're just going to be trying to just, you know, throw some suppression shots in, just making sure Dark Kid is not peeking out when they're making the rotation to the compound in front of them, which is a pretty brilliant choice coming in from BB.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of fights are happening, but there you can see the first knock coming out, and it's the big man over there falling down. That's Mad Max. He'll be back on his feet any second soon, but Max Esports kind of doing the right job of trying to avoid this fight and rather, you know, kind of prioritizing the circle so that they get in, have a good high hail. Even if you've got a compound backing you up, that's even better. So we've got to see how these players play. And this was Ironclad that we're talking about, the player who got 5 kills in the last game. So I've got my eyes on Team Max Esports right now as to how they're going to perform.
Indeed, of course. I mean, not just you. A lot of people might have their eyes on Team Max here because just the way they played in the previous, like in the first match, Erangel, and this just the way they try to like guess the zones, and they actually was favoring them a little bit. While we also talk about the zone, we can get back to it later on. But how can we ignore the beautiful and lovely looking arm?
Yeah, and it does come with that beautiful, sweet 8-time scope as well. So
just the cherry on top of the cake.
Yeah, exactly what you need. But well, Golden Stallion Esports have different plans in mind. They are taking that water route, and they might just be in a bit of a pickle because the moment they come out, you know, they come out in the open, that's where the players of Predators are going to strike them because they're just on top of Tambang. They've got that good position. They are on the coastal areas, and if they spot out a boat, they're pretty much blowing it up.
Of course, they are blowing it up, indeed, but also there are so many teams like trying to rotate in, but it doesn't seem like they are going to be struggling this time. Like what I guess was like these teams definitely might be struggling in, trying to get those rotations inside, but it doesn't really seem like that is happening anytime soon. But yeah, some water rotation, definitely unique ways coming in for rotation here. I haven't really seen anyone actually trying to rotate inside the circle through water since a long time, especially on the Sanhok map.
Yeah. Now, you know, They've gone for a different start this time. You know, they've taken 2 boats, and well, they are rotating, and it's every single time I cast a game of Sanhok, some other team is of course gonna go for those waterways. And the only problem that I have with this kind of a thing is that it never works out. Even with the likes of Team 4AM, who are considered as one of the best teams in the world, they haven't sort of even figured out. Because the moment you try to get onto its a dry land, that's the time where these teams are just waiting for you to just blow you up. So that has happened on multiple occasions. But right now, we've got Tasin, who's got his eyes onto the players of Martyrs, who did have a pretty rough start.
Indeed, they had a pretty rough start last game, though. But this game seems like they're absolutely fine. Their bellies are full. They are looking absolutely delicious and good looking. As we talk about that, Tasin doesn't really want them to look good as long as possible. He's going to be chipping out a little bit of damage on Team Martis, while at the same time his team is also doing a little bit of damage on them as well. So Martis does use those smoke grenades to flush themselves out of the tricky situations.
Yeah, that they are going to do that. But, Tasin is not really pushing in because he knows that the players of Martyrs will have to get inside the circle. They're just gating them, and they also have to get themselves in as well. But, with the kind of a rotation that Hitman has gone for, if he gets a better angle, if he comes, a bit aggressive towards the left-hand side, he might just get that angle onto Tasin and might take him down. But now we can see the players over here of Team Martyrs finally making their move in. Now, Team ALK9 decided that let's take this fight, let's continue this fight when we are inside the circle. Well, of course, yeah, it's just the second zone that we're talking about, so not doing a lot of damage, but you still need to have that sweet positioning for yourself, because in Sanhok, you tend to get third-partied a lot.
Of course, indeed, and doesn't really seem like Martis have their attention on over here, and doesn't really seem like they do capitalize on ALK9's position because they have already backed off. But also, we talk about them. Team Max is in a fight and also in a little bit of trouble while they are taking a lot more damage. While we take a look at CSR, Rohan is already going down and bleeding a lot much more faster because zone damage and the bleed damage is also coming in at the same time. Well, as we talk about that, Rohan has been eliminated from the game, and Max Clad is going to be the one to get his first ever elimination in the game, which is going to be the first blood.
Yeah, I mean, this player, he's feeling it today. You got those days, where you start off heavy, and then you're doing so well that you kind of keep on continuing with the momentum that you've built. So now, Max Esports really, really dishing out a lot of heavy damage onto its players there of Shay's evolution. Of course, Sidekick being the last man surviving. Now comes the push. Now they know that they've got this squad in the back. They can get those early sweet points, and there you go, the final kill coming out, and here we can see one of those teams eliminated.
Of course, unfortunate circumstances as we talk about, but of course it's going to be Max eliminating completely out. Chaser Evolution going to be getting eliminated out, not going to be getting any kind of points for that because they haven't gotten any kills so far, and also have been eliminated, like being the first one to get eliminated out. So it's such a disappointing moment coming in for them. But also, as we talk about, like, GSES is a team that we all want to watch out for because as long as they are alive in those late circles, they're going to be causing a lot much more mayhem and a chaos.
I mean, now this is really good what Golden Stallion have gone in for, because they did go really, really deep. They went to the southern side. So now they've got the tunnel vision focused right up on the players ahead of them. They do not have to worry about anyone coming from the behind. So that might be genius. Now, in the last game, we did see the players of Golden Stallions getting stuck in those waters, and they could not really get out. But this is the airdrop that I'm talking about, M249 in Sanhok. I absolutely love it. I mean, this weapon is loud, but as long as you got that beautiful, beautiful fire rate backing you up and that heavy, heavy damage, I mean, I might as well love to use it.
Of course, and of course you come with those 100 bullets inside the mag. You just don't need to reload.
Spray and pray.
Dude, yeah, you can literally just keep on spraying. Even the cars just get absolutely melted instantly. You don't even notice, oh my god, you're like, oh shit, I just blew up a car. It's just like that. It's just going to be like one of those situations. But also, if we take a look at that, we take a look at Sakil there. He's just trying to scout out anyone on top of the hill there, but doesn't really seem like he's going to be getting his eyes on there.
Yeah, now the players of KSX, I think this is the time that they need to wake up from the slumber, because it's been a while. It's been a while that we've seen these players performing. And, early on, they were kind of a squad that went in for those position points. But lately, they had, started racking up kills, kills after kills. They were looking so confident. But after that kind of a break that we did get to see has sort of deteriorated the gameplay. But looking at the players of PD71, they're taking a dig at Zos, who were earlier at the bootcamp region.
Of course, they have been taking a dig near the bootcamp region, but also as we talk about that, 1971 XS is in a heavy fire, and also as we talk about that, one of their teammates is getting down by it, and it's all, of course, it's going to be the backstab as we talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at Wabi Bappy, I mean, he's got a good compound backing him up. He's got, even if he gets knocked, so he can get right back on. Now, this is one of those players, and this is one of the teams that we have seen that they can pull off clutches, and massive ones at that. 1v2s, 1v3s. They've done that in the past. They surely have the potential. But now, we've got the players of Big Boss X. Another one of those consistent teams from this region going up against KSX, the old guards, as we must call them. But now, Mad Max position has sort of been compromised, but he's not revealing a lot. So that makes things easier for Team Big Boss to really try and contest this one out. But, trying to have your attention towards a completely different direction gives the opportunity for the players of KS to really go in and get a few knocks here and there.
Of course, that does give the opportunity for them. But as we were talking about, like them digging near the boot camp area, also like they have been getting so much more attention because of that, right? Like if you take a look, getting those boot camp area controls at the start, and of course like just getting overall just a juicy loot in your hands is of course going to be helping you a lot in those late situations as well. As also we talk about ALK9, this team has been so good and so fascinating to watch. Even in the previous match, that was Erangel. So yeah, of course it's going to be a lot much more difficult for the enemy team to like contest on them, because that is a pretty solid team to go up against.
Yeah, that certainly is. Now we've got the players of KSX really playing it slow, and I think they're kind of looking forward to a chicken. Once they get that, they'll be in a good position. But right now, we can see the players of Soulz in a bit of a pickle over here, as they're kind of getting surrounded. And they've got their players on a beautiful flank angle. If Zombie can possibly do something here, this might be big. He's in that precarious position where he's got that chance to get a knock or two, and once he does that, that's the perfect kind of an opening that the players of Soulz need to press upon and get the squad wipe.
Of course, they need to get the squad right, but as we talk about ALK9 captain going in, down, that's going to be such an unfortunate turn of events coming in for them. The captain is definitely one of the star players for ALK9. If they're going to be losing such a massive player, such a massive personality from their team, that's going to be massive disappointment for them. As we talk about Shade, also taking a little bit of damage, trying to throw the nade out, and seems like Alpha is just going to be spamming him through the grass, and also beautiful nade coming in from him. Going to be taking down Alpha as well. Alpha getting punished for contesting the fight a little bit too much, for over-aggressing, and also as we talk about Thunder getting the one knockout down, but also getting traded out instantly.
Yeah, he certainly did get traded off, but now not Shed doing everything that he can possibly do to keep his team alive. And well, looking at things like this, ALK9 walking off and Soulz being eliminated over there. That beautiful grenade onto its security outpost, I just love that. That is a position which is really risky, the kind of a double-edged sword analogy that I put in over here. You've got that vision coming in, but once you're spotted, one good grenade or one good Molotov is instantly going to throw you off your position, and that is exactly how it happened. And Ehsan, whoa, that
oh my
coming.
God, that was so good. Oh no, get out of the way, Hassan. You need to run away. They are just mauling your position.
Time.
Oh my God, he's getting melted. He's getting melted. He couldn't do anything. He did try to dig a little bit of hole for himself in that little bit of compound. He was like, oh my God, please God, don't let this fire get to me, please. I don't want to get barbecued alive over here, especially when the sun is on me, and at the same time there's a Molotov just trying to burn me down. I don't want this to happen, but it seems like T9 is not going to be having any of that.
Oh my goodness, what a way to die over there. But now Gold Stallion has spotted the players of Team Wolves, but wow, what a red flex coming out from Rafi out there. Eliminate the players of Golden Stallions out of the game. But now we've got the players of Max. They've already racked up 5 kills for them. They are going heavy, and they are certainly hungry for even more.
Indeed, they are definitely hungry. As we talk about, they are at least wolves in here, and we all know wolves are always hungry for that blood, and we have seen so many werewolves just like trying to frag out. But as we also talk about, SLX going down, one of their members going down, but Yashiro trying as best as he can to keep his members alive, but it doesn't really seem like he's going to be quite successful in doing that. There is one more guy in front of him trying to use a third-person cover. Yashiro trying a little bit of shots, doing a little bit of damage to him, but at the same time, it seems like he's going to be backing out as well, and Yashiro going back to his safe position as he sees his teammate is in a safe hands, which is going to be his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to give it to Yashiro. He was providing that perfect cover fire, getting enough room for his teammate to get back online. But now this is where he's going to strike. He's got that experience backing himself up. And Stalker, oh my goodness, his muzzle was visible, but somehow he did manage to find off Yashiro. He's going to eliminate him as he's going for another spray. Can he get one more knock? No, that's not going to happen, but the damage has certainly been dealt with. Of course, God's Reborn coming out on top with that one, but still with the casualties that they had is something to scoff about.
Of course, it is something to scoff about, but as we talk about NRZ, GR Daddy, of course, one of the players NRZ don't want to miss out on. As we talk about, he's also struggling to get inside the zone, but it seems like BB also is kind of struggling in their position a little bit, because we saw the zone is actually closing in slowly, and definitely it's going to be flushing out a lot of the people in their position as well. We take a look at Martis Hitman, going to be taking one guy down. from outside the zone, and the guy was actually inside. So the guy inside the zone had the advantage, but seemed like Marta's Hitman is just an absolute hitman.
Yeah, and he's a hitman, but not today, not in this game, because he's been eliminated, and that's where he ends things off. But right now, Daddy, we'll have to see how long is he going to survive. He's been spotted out right too much in the open against the players of AGT9.
Of course, indeed, as we talk about SLX, GR Koa, though. So, yeah, this man is absolutely taking that zone damage, while at the same time he is using those first aid, because he has a decent amount of first aid. Not gonna lie, he has those 4 first aids on his name. But as we talk about NRZ Daddy, he is in a heavy under fire. He needs to get inside the zone. If he doesn't, the zone damage is going to be doubling anytime soon. While as we talk about that, one bullet comes in and hits him, and there goes NRZ Grim Reaper out the game.
Yeah, they certainly do bow out, but you know, AGT9X, they still have that cover fire. They still have that cover from those compounds that they've got for themselves. But looking at God's Reborn, they've just got Kwa to work things around. And he's on the, you know, lower grounds, and he needs to get in soon. This is the 6th circle that we're talking about, and just with those bandages, he's not gonna make it.
Of course.
With 4 kills, God's Reborn, of course, finding themselves out of this game. But AGT9X, they are doing so good.
Indeed, they are doing really well and really fantastic in their situation, and just the way they're playing has been really fascinating to all of us. While we take a look at Clad, this man has been showing us an absolute phenomenal gameplay to witness. While we take a look at that, Max is going to be having none of that, going to be taking one of the members down from Wolves.
Yeah, certainly he's going to be doing that, but Max coming back in again so strong. 10 kills already for this team. This team is on a manhunt. They're on a mission. They want to prove their mettle, and they're certainly doing so as they're getting kills after kills. Now AGT9, they have to get out of their safe cover. They have to come out in the open, and that's where Team Max needs to strike. But considering the fact that the zone is going against them, this is a huge task.
Indeed, this is a huge task. While as we talk about Clad just trying to rotate around, he knows there is someone from Team Wolves just right there behind the rock, but doesn't really seem like he wants to contest this early, because he definitely wants to heal his HP up before taking any kind of fights. Just making sure you are getting a little bit of edge over that fight.
Yeah, you certainly have to, but Arsis is being taken down by Taban over there, but Insane, he's keeping the gunshots alive over there. Whoa, my goodness, this is Insane coming out from Rofi outside the play zone. Did manage to get those 2 knocks, but that's just it as Max Esports gets eliminated. But it is AGT9 who is coming out on top with this chicken. Wow, with the way these teams perform, oh my goodness, this last circle was really, really scary. But you know, it did come down to the numbers advantage that AGT9 did carry off with themselves. But Wolves, they really won our hearts. You know, in those final circles, they were outside the zone, still managing to get those 2. Had he connected one more, could have gotten a chicken dinner.
Of course, they could have gotten a chicken dinner, but one thing I really feel bad for is Team Max. They were trying their best to survive in those end circles, but yeah, some unfortunate situation, unfortunate circumstances, they got caught outside the zone, and of course, they had to face their death for that.
You know, this has happened in the past, you know, where a team is outside the circle and still has managed to get a chicken dinner. That was, in fact, very latest, because it was the GC. There's a team called Team Secret. What they did, they had one of their players who was going for the heal battle. At the moment, there were just 2 players remaining. All he did was just finish out the player who was inside the circle and managed to get themselves a chicken dinner. That was a history created. But now let's take a look at the MVP and see which player did come out on top. Again, it's Ironclad. I mean, this guy, he's an absolute beast. 5 kills, 566 damage. He's been there relentlessly getting all those kills for his team.
Indeed, getting those much more kills. As we were talking about, I was focusing much more on Clad. I had an eye on him because I certainly know that he is one of those players who knows his way around, and he knows how to work across the situations, and he was trying his best to do that, but also got caught off guard sometimes. But it actually happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it happens to the best of everyone over there, and you cannot blame them. It's Sanhok at the end of the day. But, you know, this is a really good Sanhok, I must say, because his teams had a lot of room nothing to work around with. Had they got a few extra numbers, all these teams, even if Max had those few numbers to play around with, had they not been dealing with the aftermath of the play zone, they could have certainly performed even better, maybe gotten that chicken dinner for themselves. But let's take a look at the top players and see who the other players are to shine out. And then again, you've got Max coming in, then Sad Mad is also there. So a lot of Mad, so a lot of Iron, so a lot of Max are happening. But Jigsaw, okay, yeah, I mean, Wolves, this was two back-to-back consistent performance from them.
Indeed, indeed. We are seeing so many like M's in the over here. Well, there's going to be 3 M's and 1 J. It's going to be Jigsaw just coming in there as well.
Yeah, so. I mean, but one good thing is that these teams are going to be finding themselves racking up those points. Very much needed. You need to have that soft cushion. You need to make it to the top 10 to have a good chance at qualifying for the regional finals, because only 16 teams, ladies and gentlemen, will be making it over there to face off against those invited teams playing in the PMCOs. And we're talking about big names over here.
Of course, big names, but also as we talk about the next map is going to be the more interesting and strategically skilled one. You have to use all your mechanics that you know inside the game, and also all the gunplay tactics, and you definitely have to use the M466. If you aren't, you're definitely at a disadvantage.
I mean, I would love to see some SLR and Mini in action, because these teams have been overdoing the M416 over there, because I really am kind of, to be honest, bored with it. You need to nerf that weapon. It's too broken, to be honest. It's been there right from the very start, right from the inception since Season 2 or Season 3, where we did see the players of RRQ kind of inventing that strat. But after that, everyone has been doing the same thing. And it's become kind of pretty plain over there. A few changes here and there is certainly what I would love. But now, let's take a look at the match summary and see how the numbers game worked out.
Indeed, as we take a look at match summary, of course, Clad going to be securing that highest kill plat for himself. But we got Arceus getting those longest distance kill.
Yeah, Arceus, of course, having that 224. But it's a kill after all. Not some big number that we can really discuss around. But yeah, Ironclad is one of the players that we will have to talk about, because he's playing a lot like, this particular team is playing a lot like a Blood Legion. I mean, we kind of see that semblance between these two teams. They've been going aggressive, and the same thing was happening with Blood Legion. Initially, they were trying very hard. They were going really aggressive, and suddenly they sort of started figuring out how to work around the circle, and now they are doing so well. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the match rankings, because I want to see how many points have all these teams gotten for themselves.
Of course, as we take a look at that, AGX T9X securing that chicken dinner, and the top place in match rankings as well with those 24 points and 9 kills. But also, as we take a look at that, Max Esports definitely showing us how aggressive they have been, securing the most kills in the entire game, also going away with 20 points, which is not a bad score at all.
Not at all, not at all. But amidst all this, there was one team that really missed out on this game, and it was Team Hype. It was Team Hype that did not really join, and that's going to hurt them. But ZOS not really having the kind of a game that they would have wanted. Golden Stallion Esports, we've got even bigger expectations, and the biggest disappointment over here is KSX again, finishing with 0 points. The new points distribution team earlier used to at least get 1 point. You come into the lobby, you're getting that 1 point confirmed. But now, with the current standings that we have, it's just nothing for them. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's just head into the Oppo moments, because the action in Sanhok was pretty hot. And let's take a glimpse at what really happened.
Of course, if we take a glimpse at that, this fight was definitely one of the more interesting ones, because this team just caught off guard in the outside the zone. And oh yeah, how can we forget the beautiful nade coming in over here from the team there?
Yeah, of course, ALK9, the way they went after the players of Soulz. I think this was good reading by them. They knew how to flush out the players. That was a beautiful... He spotted that he was at that outpost, and all he had to do was just lob a grenade, and that pretty much gave them the confidence. But, looking at Ehsan, well, he was kind of riddled over there with the way those Molotovs came in, and the moment it landed on both the sides, he had nowhere to go. The only chance was him to go behind, but then again, that he would have been completely in the open, taken down. And it's not Vikendi where you just kind of roll in the ice and maybe try to kind of extinguish the fire, but that does not happen. Just an analogy over there. But no, now we've got the players really picking themselves up. Now, Wolves is playing consistent, Max is really playing consistent. Now, we've got the boys from AGT9 also walking off with that chicken. So a lot of beautiful things are happening. But this is going to create a lot of ripples throughout the overall rankings as we take a look at that and see how these teams have fared off after all these games.
Indeed. Of course, Bud Legion's going to be on top. Absolute big fan of the team. While we also take a look at those leaderboards, though, Xbox and ALK9 Esports moving themselves up on the overall leaderboards. I want to see these teams come out of top 3, please. But also at the same time, all the top 3 teams are my favorite as well. So it's actually such a hard decision. You know what? Let them battle it out with each other in the next few days, and then let's just see which team's going to be coming out on top.
Yeah, exactly. You know, now all these teams are eyeing out for these top 16 positions. And AGT9 Axe, you know, courtesy to that one chicken, they have that 47 spot. But you can see, you know, the difference, the margin is not that huge. All you need is one good game with just 10 points and you're climbing up a lot of spots ahead. But now, Hi Brothers, they've also done a decent job. But they're not far behind, just 3 points shy of entering into the top 16. But I've always been harping about the fact that you need to be at least in those top 12, top 10 to, you know, kind of feel safe about the fact that you're going to qualify.
Of course, those top 10 situations are the most, like, as we like to say, the popular teams that are between the things, because like those teams would definitely be the top 10 teams, and you getting those top 3 spots are definitely a lot much more easier from then on. But also there are so many matches happening tomorrow as well, so it's going to be interesting to see like how these guys are going to be getting their position and stats back up. So yeah, I am quite a lot more interested to see like what is going to be happening tomorrow as well. But also, we still have two more maps going up ahead, so it's going to be a lot much more interesting to see.
Now let's talk about Hypergaming, a team that is on the 31st spot, and they've started missing out on games. Now this is something that you cannot afford, right? And you know, it comes down to punctuality of the players, the seriousness. I mean, if you do not want to play, then just don't give the other teams a chance. This kind of an approach, this kind of a behavior right now is certainly not acceptable. But now what we are going to do is head for a short little break, because coming up is the map of Miramar. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 4 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Bangladesh region, of course, sponsored by Oppo Reno 5. As we are heading into the game number 3, that's going to be Miramar. And today we've seen these teams being consistent, a few of them, a few bunch of them rather. And it's going to be really a good time for the players of Wolves and even Team Max. And this is a team that's relatively new. They've come in, they've proven their mettle, and they're going aggressive. So I think if they kind of keep this going on, do you feel they're going to be a huge contender for the teams like with the likes of Blood Legion and ERC TRC?
Of course, if they keep on doing the same thing that they are doing right now. But I feel like Blood Legion was a little bit more aggressive. If we take a look at the overall gameplay they have been showing in the previous games, Blood Legion was definitely a lot much more aggressive. And also, they have those 2 star players coming in for them. How can we forget them? So, yeah, of course, a lot much more firepower coming in from Blood Legion themselves.
Hey, you still cannot rule out Ironclad. He's been getting back-to-back MVP. So, I mean, once they kind of get into the zone, I'm pretty sure they might want to go big.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Ironclad is only the one who is actually getting a lot of kills on his team. Like, the other people, I feel like they are more kind of like anchors for him and more kind of like the support players as we talk about. Like, they're setting him up for those kills. But at the same time, yeah, if you have those 2 massive fraggers coming in, yeah, it's going to be a lot much more interesting for you. But as we take a look at the plane fly path, decent amount of plane fly path coming in here, covering a decent amount of area, but doesn't really seem like it's going to be a lot much more harder if you are targeting those Hacienda and those Crater Field as we talk about El Pozo. No one really lands on those spots anyway. So, yeah, I feel like, yeah, the plane fly path is actually a little bit decent. Yeah.
I mean, it might be decent for you, but, I'm sorry. I have a completely different opinion. This has to be one of the worst flight paths for these teams. So less of the areas being covered. And, I mean, if you have to go towards El Pozo, Monte Nuevo, La Relena, even as far as Chumacera, it's all so far-fetched. You need to go for those vehicles. I mean, it's going to be a total nightmare for the players because a lot of players do tend to go to those drop locations. Now they have to implement their plan B. So that's where things might start going south right from the early get-go.
Indeed, they might start going south from the early get-go, as you were talking about. But look at the zone shift here, and look at Team Wolves where they've dropped. They've dropped like in a really no man's land. But at this, no, actually, wait, there is someone near them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Team Wolves might be in early trouble.
They certainly must be right now because they've dropped off at Impala, and this is a problem with those early skirmishes that we have, right? These teams tend to kind of go against each other. They waste a lot of time, just holding on, finding that perfect angle because it's TPP at the end of the day, right? Had it been FPP, they could have completely gone ham, get that one knock and then just push on that squad. But right now in these certain scenarios, it's going to be really tough. But at the same time, this is a good window of opportunity for the players of Team Wolves to get a few kills here and there for themselves because the team opposite to them, it's Team Hyper, who've not been having a rather good time and did miss out on that last match. The only player that I believe has got some potential from this team is Pyol, with the way he's been performing, and there you go,
he talk about the Pyol is proving us right there, taking down Rafi like it's nothing. Beautiful AK spray. And we haven't been really seeing AK much in the action, but yeah, of course, in the Erangel map, we did see those AKs coming out and doing a certain amount of damage, while as we talk about GSES Poison going down from Brawley. Unfortunate circumstances as he wanted to contest that vehicle in front of him, but seems like he was a little too late to get that vehicle, and the Murado is just going to be making him sad now while Poison's just getting eliminated early off the game. That's a massive, unfortunate situation coming in for GSES.
Oh my goodness. So this is what I was talking about, right? Those teams trying to go off to their respective drop locations. They will be contesting for the vehicles. And whoever gets that weapon first is having such a good advantage. But looking at Leo, well, he's got his eyes set on towards Arceus. It's just a matter of seconds that has Arceus realized where he's exactly positioned at. Because if that one grenade kind of connects, he's basically done.
Where did the nade go?
Oh, he just decided not to go with it. But look
Leo
at Pyol.
is right there.
Look at Pyol. He is playing completely off from his squad, going 1v3 against Team Wolves.
that man is not scared, and certainly over-aggression is not a good thing to do as well. As we talk about, PL is all by himself. His team definitely needs to back him up a little bit here, but doesn't really seem like his team's going to be helping him out. Hyper certainly lacking in that team conversation as we talk about that team call-outs, because it doesn't really seem like there was anyone to support PL, but at the same time, I feel like his team has called him back.
Yeah, I mean, somehow, Team Wolves have managed to kind of revive their friend over there. That's Rofi. But Arceus, oh, this was a good chance where he could have really gone in for those shots. But trying to avoid doing that, he needs to back off, trying to have a really good position. But he's got to get a lot of vision though. But coming in from the down lines. Oh, that's Leo over here.
That's Leo. That's Leo.
Oh my goodness. This is so funny right now. This is going absolute mental. I mean, what are these teams up to? Hyper certainly have nothing to lose, and they are playing like that.
Oh my! But I mean.
I've got to feel bad for Team Wolves.
What is Hyper doing? They're just not scared of taking those fights, as we were seeing a ruthless aggression coming in from Hyper there. And Wolf certainly is a lot more scared and going to be deciding to back out. I feel like, yeah, you should back out, because Hyper right now are just hungry wolves, as we were talking about. Just a pack of wolves, poor wolves, just like, just walking around trying to find those kills, because it seems like Hyper have already given up their hope, and they're like, if we are going in this, we are going all in.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, okay, so we've got very limited number of games. We are already doing pretty bad. I mean, it cannot get worse than this. Now, let's just go in on any squad that we find, go aggressive, get those points. Maybe those points might help us in recovering from that, downfall that we are already facing. But now, I think Team Wolves, now they've got a lot of things online, right? They're doing pretty well. They've had a very good start to the day so far, and already losing out on one of their players. That's something that they certainly cannot afford. So it's better, and even I would say a rather wiser decision that they've kind of backed off.
Indeed, backing off is a really mature decision coming in from Wolves, as we talk about that. Well, we'll take a look at CSR in a no man's land in El Azhar, getting that juicy loot in their bellies, and just going to be going inside the circle with those two beautiful cars coming in from them. Of course, they might be having my favorite car, which is going to be Murado. And of course, as we talk about Murado, it's such a fast-paced car. Like, Murado has such a insane amount of speed in it that it's actually hard to spray down a guy who is in a full speed inside Murado.
I mean, I do not have to spray down on the guy. I'll just blow the whole vehicle up. That's the way to go around with Murado.
Yeah, but it's like, imagine, okay, you just have a little bit of portion in front of you, and you need to hit those crucial shots on that guy. And a vehicle is certainly not going to be blowing up really easily, because it just takes
Murado.
a lot.
Come on.
I mean, it's still, listen, okay, it's of course going to be blowing up in like at least 30 bullets. Come on, at least 30, 40 bullets.
Yeah.
So you are, of course, not going to be having that much time to empty your clip and not on that car, while you can just shoot like 10 or 20 bullets to a guy and, miss a little bit here and there at the same time, just hit those little bit of bullets and get that guy down.
At the highest competitive level, these players are really good with the aim. The single chance that they get, if there's even two, I mean, just within a second or two, I think you're going to just blow up that vehicle. That's as delicate as that. But this is one of the vehicles that's really viable over here. And at the same time, someone is shooting at you. The only problem, another problem rather, with Murado is it's not got a good control. And if you take it off the tracks, if you take it off-road, you're basically done. So I've been in situations like this. I've been trying to go around those ridges, and my Murado has completely got stuck off at a point and not even coming out. And, in the map of Miramar, it's something like buggy or maybe a bike that I absolutely love. So now this bike, we know bikes are really fast, and in bikes you've got that very good control that you can get over. So if you have to traverse around, maybe these two, but if you need that extra bit of a cover, we've seen teams going in for those mini bus, and that's a very slow vehicle. But the kind of a cover fire that you can kind of build it around like a wall in those open circles to just survive. So a lot of utilities even coming out of a car from after it gets blasted that we've seen from these teams. But getting back to the game now, we've got the team of Martis, who's been kind of having a very off start lately.
It's just a road rally going on over here, dude.
And, well, they certainly do not intend to finish off the race in the right course.
Yep, I can imagine them having like so much fun between like those four, just like gangster.
See, this is what I was talking about. The Mirado gets stuck in those situations, and when a team is shooting at you and you cannot afford to be stuck over there, that's that's so frustrating.
Yeah, I certainly get your point. But if you're driving on those roads, yeah, I feel like Mirado does give you that speed. But as you talk about, yeah, the delicacy of the car does come in there, and you might just get sprayed down. And if someone just has an M249, then you can imagine your car just getting shredded into pieces. Well, as we take a look at that, ALK9 Tassin does spot the members of TSR, which is going to be Devil. Now, Rohan also moving in pretty close, but seems like they're going to be contesting the hilltop over there right in front of ALK9 Tassin. So it seems like Tassin might be in a little bit of disadvantage as we take a look at that. The hill that CSR definitely has an edge on, and Tassin unfortunately dropping below. But Hassan seems like he does have the high ground contested for himself as well. But there are some teams racking up behind them. And there are some teams trying to flank and make a way behind them as well. So they have to watch their backs. Make sure you always watch your back, kids.
Yeah, you certainly have to. And, that was just a slip over there. Because he did not really intend to fall, but he did somehow. But this is, again, the good old M4 in action. And it's not like, the developers have not really done anything about it. They've reduced the damage. They've kind of increased the sway a bit. But still this weapon is so overpowered, Teams still, despite the fact, really go in for it because of the kind of utility that it provides. It gives you that very good control. Once you have got all those attachments coming in, have a suppressor, you can do wonders with that. But M16, this is one of the weapons that's really crisp. The very sound of it with a suppressor.
So satisfying.
It's so satisfying. Yeah.
Yep, indeed. One thing I always used to like, oh my God, what just happened? Wolves! You are letting me down. Wolves has gone down early in this game. Well, as we talk about and listen to the satisfying sound of M16, I also want to point some things out that I used to think back in the day. I used to think, hopefully M16 gets auto sometimes. You can just like spray it on. And imagine just hearing that suppressing sound over and over again just while you're just spraying people down. It's going to be so satisfying. But as we talk about, Devil's certainly doing a lot much more solid damage as we talking about. He's just chipping everyone down, just like not even wasting a lot of bullets in the process as well. Just like, just dip, 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 dip. Just, tapping them down, and the process also trying to burst their vehicles out, making sure they do not get those rotations in. Devil, what are you doing? You're just bullying them.
I mean, yeah, of course. I would have loved Devil, however, to, really just flat out the tires. But the kind of, damage the kind of damage he's dishing out, like you mentioned, he's just, slightly just tickling them off with those bullets, and it's hitting their heads. And this is where teams start to kind of undermine the potential that the M16 has. You're like, yeah, it's just one shot. I can still stand. But by the moment, you're just kind of over-peaking, you're down on your feet. You're knocked out because that's the kind of a gun that's got such a huge, beautiful fire rate. You can just tap it out and you can control it so well. So 3 beautiful headshots coming out with that weapon. That's a knock over there that we're talking about. But yeah, again, let's come down to the discussion regarding AK-47. I mean, I love this weapon, AKM. It has always been one of my favorite weapons. And nowadays, in the professional scenario, if we talk about the global championship, if you talk about the PMPLs, as we move along to it, we've seen a lot of teams even a lot of players even controlling the 6 times on an AK.
M4 6x is definitely the meta, but you talked about even on AK controlling that. Of course, the sway is going to be so much if you're going to be using that 6x on the AK. The sway, even if you just tap, it just goes up so much that the recoil with the AK 6x is a lot much more harder. But at the same time, in those mid-range, sometimes you might be getting a much more success, but also there is a fact it's going to be horizontal recoil. On that AK, the horizontal recoil absolutely kicks in if you're just going to be keeping on spraying those bullets. After 5 bullets, like the horizontal recoil also kicks in, which is going to be a lot much more harder to control. And it's mostly just random, it's just like a really random thing, the horizontal recoil. So yeah, it's going to be a lot much more harder. But also, as we talk about, Hyper is on a killing spree. We have seen them absolutely just dominate other squads, and it doesn't really seem like they're going to be stopping. Look at this. How are they pushing? Are you scared? Oh my God, what just happened?
Hey, they just missed a game. They need to compensate for it, and they're getting a lot of points.
But they're
6 kills already to these lads.
What are they doing? They're beaming everybody.
Yeah.
He just peeked for a second and he already went down. I didn't even notice him going down so fast. What is going on, Hyper? You need to chill. Look at this. They're just surrounding everybody. The BB. What is exactly going on, Hyper? You need to chill down. Oh my God. This is much more aggression coming in from Hyper than we saw yesterday with Blood Legions.
I mean, if they keep on continuing playing like this, they're going to wipe out the whole lobby. And this is exactly, they're just having fun. They're like, we spot someone down, we are going after them. Because their opponent is kind of scared. You know, they are focusing on just rotating, you know, throughout the playing that tactical game. Yeah, but these guys have got nothing to lose. They're like that, you know, hungry tiger that has not eaten his lunch for a long, long time. And now, whoever he sees is their prey. And that is exactly, you know, these Bangladeshi teams are after right now, especially with Hyper. I mean, they've pretty much compensated for for not playing in the last game. 8 points already right off the bat, have eliminated 2 teams, and if they continue doing this, I think they're going to get a lot more.
Of course, they are going to be getting a lot more. But right now, Hyper is just like, flip everything in my way. We are just going to be going right through in the between. We don't care. We absolutely don't care. We're going to shred anyone in our way. And now NRC does have that small compound, but also at the same time, they don't have that high ground coming in as well. So, yeah, I feel like NRC just are going to rotate inside the circle. As we see, they were on the edge of the circle also as well. It's a late rotation coming in from NRC, so there are some squads also racking up from their right side. So if they actually manage to spot the sound clue from the squads that is on the right, it seems like they're going on the same position where the squad on their right wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to meet each other pretty soon. But, you know, as the game goes on, we've got the players of Team Max. You know, they've already lost on Ironclad, which is a huge bummer for them because they always want him to be there in the thick and thins of things. But now, having spotted the players of Predator, let's see how this fight goes on. But look at God's Reborn. They are also going ham, and they've got a few kills for themselves. And Zos, not really having the time of their lives in this tournament.
Yep, indeed. Struggling a lot much more than they were. But as we talk about, so many people are dying to the play zone.
Yeah, you gotta respect it. I've been, you know, saying this like a broken record every single time. Yeah, and this is bound to happen.
So many people are dying to the play zone, and it's actually such a disappointment. CSR, I feel like their whole team is just dying to the play zone. What is going on here?
I mean, the chasers can't really make it inside the circle. That's an irony, right?
ALK9 Esports getting eliminated early off this time. What is going on here?
Wolves goes down. ALK9 goes down. Who's coming next?
Hyper. Okay, Hyper. I really want to see Hyper win this game.
I'm telling you, Hyper's going to make it to the top 5.
You are? Okay, bet?
No.
Come on. Okay, then there's no.
Unless I'm like 100% sure, I'm not wagering there. But, you know, getting back to the game, we've got the players of Max Esports already under a heavy fire. They've got to get themselves out of the situation. But KSX finally taking down one of the players of Team Hyper. But look at Insane from up above. He's raining down on those bullets, and Cloudy will also get knocked out and, of course, meet his makers really soon.
Of course, Cloudy is going to be going to the gods up top. Well, as we also talk about that, Insane is going to be the one to give him a free ticket. While we also talk about that, Daddy going down as well from NRZ. Unfortunately, from Daddy wasn't really able to figure out the sound clues and where he's getting shot from, and also going to be getting shot. Oh no, what is going on? Oh my God, he almost got. Look, even he's in shock. He's like, is this for real?
He took a breather there.
Yeah,
thank God I survived. Because the moment he would have been knocked out, it would have, it would have been really difficult for. Yeah.
I mean, if I was his teammate, I would have literally been shouting at him at that point.
Hey, what are you doing? But you know, they've got to get inside the circle. The only reason that they had taken the high ground, they have sort of justified it. They've got a lot of kills out of that, and now I think deploying a few smokes, but right in front of them are the Hungry Lions and the Tigers that we are talking about. That's Team Hyper.
Hungry Wolves, as I would like to call them. I mean, of course, the Wolves are much more hungrier than as we talk about Lions, because I feel like Wolves also have a lot much more brain using those, and I feel like Hyper certainly is showing that brain as well. Well, as we also take a look at AGX, a T9 Dragon.
Hyper goes out.
I
did not bet.
I hope you should have bet it there.
I mean,
no. Hyper getting eliminated early off as well, but with 9 points securing in their pockets. As we talk about 0 going down from NRZ, NRZ is having a rough time this game, this whole game, and it seems like Dragon is going to be the one dominating them, absolutely just taking them down and melting them like it's a ice cream.
Yeah, now if you take a look at the teams that we have got over here, Big Boss X, so this team. So, talking about them, they've been kind of consistent, to be honest, and they've had themselves in those top 16. But the last game did not really go according to their plans. Now we've got the players of AGT9. Well, they did step up really huge in Sanhok, of course, and they're in a good position right now. All they need to do is get inside the circle. But with Big Boss watching out for them and these smokes kind of revealing their spot, now they're just going to wait. The moment they're right out in the open, Taban is going to be in for some heavy beating.
Indeed, he will be in for some heavy beating. But as we also talk about, they do not have a really good amount of cover there. They need to shift themselves. As we talk about this, Max, why do you just have a iron sight on your Scar L?
Kind of gives you that extra aim assist on the Scar L. So that's the thing with PUBG Mobile. And certain players kind of love to use that. Even I personally somehow love my good old iron sight. And even different casters like XP, he does not need a scope at all, at least unless it's a bolt action. So yeah, it's a personal preference, to be honest, over there.
Indeed. I mean, I would of course like the sight on my gun because the more clear vision as we talk about that. But AGXT9 having those 2 members knocked down, while at the same time the zone's going to be flushing them inside, as we see both of the knockdown members trying to make inside the zone like old people.
They're just crawling. They're really hot. And we did anticipate that. This is ought to happen. This was bound to happen. This was kind of predicted.
It was. Indeed it was.
And now Taban. Can he get it?
No, get insane. No.
Get the loot. Get the loot. Take this miss. No.
Please take the loot. You do need that loot. But as we talk about BD71, Bappy getting that massive grenade kill, and it's going to be his first kill. Well, also as we talk about Golden Stallion Esports getting eliminated, but there's so many fights happening, so many fights being contested as we talk about Exhaust 1971 also taken down. What is going on? So many squads are being eliminated at back-to-back, and it's just going to be much more harder to see what's going on here. But as we talk about Max also spraying the smoke down, doesn't really seem like he's going to be getting any kind of success to pulls out a nade to do that area damage. Is he going to be able to take another knockdown though? Beautiful nade placement coming in, and there goes the knockdown kill. Also as we talk about Wizzy taking a lethal amount of damage from that nade, down to only 20 HP.
Yeah, but somehow he's managed to heal himself up. But right now, Max still has that better high ground advantage that he had, kind of playing around the ridge. My apologies there. And he can always stay under the cover. He can always make those rotations. But Max, he was kind of oblivious about Yashiro's position. And, well, they've been punished for that. Max also taking an early exit, just that 1 position point. And those 2 kills that they will be receiving. So 3 points in total. So we're going to have a completely different winner. And I really want someone from the likes of Team Goth Reborn or maybe KS Axe coming in heavy in this game.
Exactly. I mean, as we talk about them, though, over here, like PSRM, if we take a look at them, they do have one of the best covers inside the circle as we take a look at that. And yeah, of course, it's a little bit off, but it's not that far away. Like, they can literally just prone down and get inside the circle easily without any issues. And yeah, Blank, as we see at Blank, he's just trying to, he's just watching their 6, as we like to call it. And also, there is BD71 in a massive world of trouble, but it seems like they're not going to be having any kind of issues getting their teammate up, which is going to be Brady.
Yeah, right now, the players over here of BD71. Now, they've got just 2 players coming in. Brawley not really having the best of the loot he's asking, in fact, for the first hit. So they have to primarily focus on getting into the center of the circle. But KS Axe, dishing out some heavy damage, trying, to burst that vehicle or get a knockout from there. But nothing of that sort is happening as Flint from Martis, he's spraying down. He's getting a few kills. But Sakil from Team KS Axe, he is on a rampage. He's got those 3 kills and looks like he does not want to stop.
Exactly. As we also talk about that, Gods Reborn, one of your favorite team, has been eliminated out of the game. Unfortunate circumstances, unfortunate situation showing up for them, and not really able to capitalize on the situation, and they are going to be going down. Now, there are only 6 teams alive, also 16 people alive as well. As we talk about that, the numbers are decreasing slowly and slowly as the people are being eliminated. As we talk about that, also PSR is also being focused by Team Martis, which is going to be Flint, just trying to spam the smoke, trying to get any like random knockouts. But as we talk about that, BD71 Omega has been eliminated out of the game as well.
What an outing from the players of Team Martis. You know, they are stepping in late, but they've got the blessings of the circle. And, you know, Flint, he was just spraying down through the smoke, and suddenly he got that M4 tick. And I really thought that after that reload, he might just go complete ham over there.
Exactly.
But still, you know, kind of going in for the safer approach, because they know they've got the circle. There's no need, absolutely, to kind of tend to overpeak, because someone else might just take you down, and that is something that you cannot afford, because then again, someone has to come in and get that res on towards you. But as we speak, Big Boss X also taking an exit on the 5th position.
Exactly. As we take a look at PX Bit, though, Winter going down. Unfortunate circumstances showing up for them as well. While Stalker's just trying to spam any kind of shots. If he spots anyone, he is taking those shots. He's not letting them go away for free. While also, as we take down the airdrop, is right in between. It's like one of those things who actually wants the attention, but still not going to get any attention, because there's just so many fights happening, and it seems like the teams actually need their attention and focus more on the fights than on the airdrop, than contesting on the airdrop. While as we talk about Flint, though, we have been seeing this man taking so much damage, dishing out so much damage on other teams, and also AGX T9X.
Well,
getting eliminated.
I mean, still a good performance, I must say. Consistency is the key from their side. But right now, what, you know, Predators have done wrong is they've given a lot of their position. You know, they've yet to get inside the circle, and they've started spraying at Martis. Now, Martis are the patient bunch. Now, they're like, we're not going after you right now, but once you come out in the open, we are going to turn you into dead meat.
Look at that precise M4 spray, as we like to talk it out. And Ninja, not really one to like show as we take a look at his name, though. Ninja, he has to be the one like as a star player for their team, but hasn't really been showing up. But yeah, he is definitely trying to like contest the enemy positions as well, but also getting those suppression fire. And what is he doing? Why are you just staying in the window? While also, as we talk about that, Ninja getting that kill onto him.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Mortis is pulling off a really, really good job over here. You know, taking 2 fights against different team at the same time, and they are getting the knock. And KSX, they certainly have to move inside the circle, and Mortis is taking such a huge advantage. And this is where, you know, having all your players alive in those final circle gives you that extra bit of a boost, gives you that extra bit of a confidence. You have a lot of angles covered for yourself, and this chicken dinner certainly looks like there, because, you know, we've just got Stalker, who is actually going in for the heal battle, but apart from that, it's done. You know, Martis, they're just roaming around. They know they've got this in the bag. It's just moments, it's just seconds before, you know, they finally get the chicken dinner.
Indeed, as we talk about Team Mortis, the circle shift is definitely going to be favoring them a lot much more. And also, as we talk about the ruthless aggression showing up, but EXO is taking a lot much more damage outside the zone. He's not going to be having enough time to get healed, but he seems like he's going to get knocked out. While we also take a look at KSX Miramar just spraying randomly, and winner chicken dinner for Team Martis.
Oh my goodness, what a ton of events, to be honest. I mean, they went in hungry for a kill. They did get that. They did get that from Miraz. Of course, having spotted that fallen player out. I mean, it was bound to happen that he's going to be in the 2nd position. But what else could he get? Was 1 extra point. He got that for himself. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, Martis coming out on top with 11 kills and completely having the blessings of the circle, rather taking a very good spot and just holding on. All the other teams had to close in, and they could not. I mean, there would have been a situation if, you know, the players of Predators and the players of KSX had kind of taken shots at the same time, at the same team. Had they connected, had they got those knocks, something else could have happened. But that was not the case because, the players of Martis had had a good cover for themselves to play around, as a result of which they managed to get that chicken. But now let's take a look at which player individually was shining everybody else, and it had to be Ninja. I mean, like you said, considering Ninja, he's got to be that kind of a player that you would expect to play from the shadows, from the darks, from the backlines, from the flank angles. But no, he was like a Rambo over there, and he was just going ham after the players, one after the other, getting those knocks, 5 kills and 829 damage.
Of course, Ninja was definitely the one who, as you said, he was the Rambo, and at the same time, he was also a Romeo sticking around his team. He wasn't really letting them go. But as we talk about the damage numbers as well, 829 damage and only 74 healing done. Were you taking damage, Ninja, or are you an actual Ninja?
I mean, he might have been just dodging the bullets with that really good agility.
Definitely, ninjas have those reflections as we talk about, and certainly he has been showing those. I would like to talk to you. I want to learn one of those.
I mean, I think it all came down to having a really good position, right? That was just plain it. They did see opportunity. That compound was vacant. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the top players in the game, and we'll see who are the other players. And of course, has to be Pure. I've been talking about this player a lot of times. I mean, Hyper, with the kind of a play that they made. I mean, not too shabby, to be honest. They did manage to collect 9 points. So, considering their situation right now, 9 points are going to definitely take them up somewhere, at least in the 25th or 26th spot.
Hyper has impressed me this year.
Yeah.
We all need to agree the way Hyper was playing, and just the Hyper gaming overall, just they were playing, they were like, flip everything in our way. We are just going to be dashing right through in between. We just don't care like what are the circumstances or the situation standing up in front of them. We are going to be getting the easiest solution out, easiest solution possibly out. And also they got eliminated pretty easily too in the end circle out. But yeah, I just like the ruthless aggression to see, and it was an absolute iconic moment to watch.
I mean, if they keep on continuing this thing, if in the last game of Erangel, I think they can possibly might enter the top 5, top 6. But now we're going to take a look at the match summary and see how the numbers game did come out so far. So 274 meters, longest distance kill, okay. Highest damage, it's fine. 829 is still a good number. Miramar, of course, another good respite for Team KSX. They've been struggling a lot lately. But this second position is of course going to give them that push, going to give them that boost to, try to end things on a good note in the map of Erangel. Because, of course, the moment the circle kind of shifted completely in the favor of the players of Martis, even the players of, KSX knew that it's very difficult to happen. 99% chances we are going to go down. But they still, picked up from the spoils, still did manage to get that 1 kill for themselves. And that's still a victory that they can call it for themselves.
Exactly, indeed, but definitely the way Hyper was playing was a lot much more impressive. Even to be honest, I feel like they were so much more aggressive than Blood Legions were in the last time, because I feel like Blood Legions were actually also getting the strategies in the last time, while also at the same time they were showing us the ruthless aggression. But it was just a lot much more passive-aggressive gameplay style showing up. But also we saw, as you were talking about KSX, they were also doing it pretty much better, and that one teammate or that one player definitely managed to secure those top second spot for them.
Yeah, but now we are going to be taking a look at the match rankings and see what these teams are up to. And now we've got Martis having, the top position, 26 points for this team. 11 kills is a testament of how good they've been holding their position. But KSX, AGT9 again. So AGT9 did have a chicken there, and now they've come on the 3rd position. Now this is also a good game for the players of Predator. But did you take a look at Team Hyper? So courtesy to this, just 8 kills and 1 position point. They find themselves at the 5th spot.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. What else can I say? Like, they have left me speechless. When I am talking about Hyper right now, I am just left speechless because I did not expected them just to like push everybody and just destroy everybody just like they're nothing. They actually made me felt like I was just watching a normal public game.
Yeah, I mean, it was like some, venturing into some PUBG game where, the teams are just going after each other. But now, let's take a look at how the action erupted in Miramar as we take on towards our Oppo moments. And right off the bat,
beautiful
Team
shot.
Hyper, beautiful, precise shot coming out. And Pure, I think he's playing so very well. And if he continues doing that, he might be a phenom in those future tournaments to come.
Indeed, we take a look at these moments, though. So many knockdowns going in over here. And yeah, there were definitely some iconic moments as we were talking about. Hyper was just like, downing every squad that was in front of them. While also, as we take a look over here, NRC just got completely destroyed by this team that was on Hilltop.
Yeah, of course. I mean, AGT9, they knew how to position themselves. Of course, they had sort of anticipated that maybe the circle might just favor onto them, because majority of the times, I would not really blame them. We've seen, the team having the high circle somehow gets the blessing. But lately in Miramar, it has certainly been an opposite case. Teams like RRQ had a lot of trouble while they were playing in the World League initially. So what used to happen was they used to get that high ground spot. They used to get a lot of kills, but at the same time, the circle would just shift against them. The circle would just go away from the mountain, would go away from the hill, and they will have to go down. And while they are going down, they used to get bursted off. But now ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the storyline that they've been building up so far. And I mean, Big Boss X, ALK9, and AGT9. So they are all making their way into the top 8. And I think still far away from the kind of a domination that Blood Legion and ERZ, TRZ, along with XCVSE had. But it's still decent, considering we still have one more game to play.
Exactly true, but one thing I definitely want to point out is no one really able to pull down even a little bit of hair from Blood Legion there. Yeah. They are just standing tall with their chests out and standing really proud, as we all like to say, and they are certainly not going to be scared of any team, certainly just crossing them on their first place, unless a team just absolutely wipes out everyone in the game and then...
if things completely go south, that's a completely different scenario. And we've also seen teams, they performed really well during the qualifiers and did really perform really well when the main stage starts. But when they go to the regional finals, the pressure is completely different. They kind of seem to falter off. So I'm really waiting, because the first half of their challenge, they've completed. They've done that with flying colors, But next, when we have, the reputed teams, the coveted teams, the big names, when they come into the regional finals, that's where the real challenge lies. How well prepared they are is going to be the biggest question out there. And not just, Blood Legion, also ERZ, TRZ, and XCVSE. XCVSE is a team that we've seen being so consistent. They've been getting those points. They've been getting those numbers. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are going for a short little break, because coming up is the final map of Erangel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 4 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Bangladesh region, of course, sponsored by Oppo Reno 5. My name is Vixus, joined along with Necro as we head along to the last map of the evening. And what an amazing time it has been. And I think I was kind of scoffing the teams yesterday because I was not really happy because it was Blood Legion, ERZ, TRG, and XVVSC. But today, we've got so many teams coming up. You know, even the likes of Team Hyper, they are completely going mental with the approach, the kind of an aggression that they're showing. But as we move along to the final game of Erangel, what do you expect? Where is the circle going to be?
Erangel, I want a military circle.
Me too.
I want a military circle where people are going to have a hard time rotating inside the zone because the bridges are the only way they are going to be able to get in. And the bridges are, of course, going to get camped alongside. So it's going to be so interesting.
I mean, that's going to be really, really interesting because those certain circles completely change the approach how you would want to, you know, go across the military base. But with that being said, the flight path trajectory, we are looking at a Nova towards Quarry.
Really tough.
I mean, for the circle that you've asked for, that's nice.
That's
but
nice.
For the teams, it's a nightmare.
But I mean, also for us, it's a nightmare. Seems like it's going to be a
we love chaos.
We love chaos, yeah, but at the same time, it's going to be harder for the zone to be in the military side because the plane fly path is actually supporting military base a lot.
You know, in circles like this, in flight path trajectories like this, we've seen the circle going a bit up north. So, I mean, the last thing on planet Earth that I would want to see is again something like a shelter circle. I mean, I'm kind of bored with it because the teams, they've kind of figured out how to go around and, well, you've got a thought?
CSR seems like they only have 3 people in here.
Ouch. So
unfortunate.
Unfortunate turn of events, yeah. But thank God we've got a full stack lobby.
Indeed, we do have
just that one player not playing. No, it's even another team there.
Yeah, BD7.
Yeah.
What is happening with these players? Seems like they are having some connection issues indeed. But also, as we take a look over here, 3 teams are this time going for the military drop. And interesting, we haven't seen anyone going for Novo.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Nova being contested, being so hot. So it kind of comes down to, okay, so this squad is going to Nova, and the same squad is like, oh, the other squad is going to Nova. So nobody goes Nova, and Nova is vacant.
And Nova is Nova. So, and it's just,
I think Bonds Reborn was the squad that did, contest for Nova in the first game. But this time, no.
It's like a lot of teams actually like to go to Novo because of the, as we like to say, the containers area does have a lot much more juicy loot. And, of course, everybody wants that juicy loot coming in. But as we talk about that early elimination coming in with the M16, and, yeah, unfortunate, but it's going to be King taking him down. Now, Team PSR is in a massive, unfortunate turn of events, and the situation doesn't really seem like they're going to be favoring them. But also, seems like they're just going to be falling back, and they do not want to challenge any fight because they already have one teammate going down early on.
Yeah, but, you know, right now, okay, ALK9, this is a team that's doing fairly well, and they find themselves in a kind of comfortable position. I told you. You know, this was ought to happen.
It's actually one of the best circles you can get in Erangel.
I mean, I see the satire over there.
But the fights are not going to be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, imagine this was a perfect setup. You know, all these teams were on the southern side. They could have, kind of rotated really early on had that been a southern circle. But no, let's just forget about the fact. Let's just get back into reality. Okay, now we've been provided this circle. I really want it to end around the Rozhok area. In fact, the northern side of Rozhok, where you have those thin streams of water in contention. And, you know, it kind of gets confusing in the end as to where is it going to finally end at. Is it going to go to the northern side or is it going to go to the southern side? I would even love that Yasnaya Lake that we have, if a few fights kind of head on around that place. But something that I really do not want to see is another shelter or a mansion or a prison circle.
Of course, no one wants to see those kind of circles because I feel like in those a place where it's like a lot more jungly area, as we like to call it that, because there's like so many trees, like especially behind mansion. If you're familiar with the area, there are so many covers coming in, and I feel like people can just prone down and just play like an absolute rat and just not get spotted early off or even late off. So yeah, things might get a little bit slow over there, but yeah, there are still unfortunate situations happening with each and every team, so we cannot really be expecting a lot much more from everybody, as sometimes zone shift actually does favor luck sometimes. So yeah, all the teams might get screwed in the end time, but yeah, they can try their best to actually overcome the situations. And yeah, just what is going on? What is Martis doing? They are running in the middle of the bridge. Are you guys scared for your lives? Like, look at him just jumping around. Ninja, I mean, you're supposed to be the one to be the most solid person because you're...
Hey, that's how ninjas go.
No, ninjas are supposed to be like stealth killers. Yeah. They're supposed to be... Oh my god, as we were talking about, just gets absolute... I'm done. As we were talking about that, Ninja gets punished for his foolishness. Ninja's gonna get punished for that, and Ninja's gonna be taken down. Exactly what I was talking about. Are you scared for your life? And
they were high on spirits, to be honest. After getting the chicken dinner, they think that they could just pull this one off, but. Well, there's a slight possibility that Ninja might just get the res
Early
on.
Squad elimination chaser evolution.
Where did it happen?
I did not even see that, to be honest.
Wow, I mean, this has been a fun Erangel game so far. And Hitman finally spotting out Daddy. Where's he tapping? How does he know? All right.
Seems like he has the God vision on himself, but as we keep on furthering, like looking forward in the game, this is something really interesting as we are seeing on our screens happening, but also missing a lot of shots in the process as well on Daddy. It doesn't really seem like he has that aim in his backpack as well, but also pre-firing all these spots that he is able to see.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, Hitman is kind of just,
and
tapping.
still has been taken down.
Yeah, I mean, he was taking those predictive shots, just thinking that it might connect or someone might just pop their heads out and would directly have a headshot right onto their head. But no, this is absolutely disastrous because the revive was almost on, but now Zozox, he needs to fight it out, and he's pretty much gone at the moment he just got up from the revive. I mean, could not really get anything done, and there you go, the knock coming out. He did manage to knock one in the process though, but the numbers certainly were not stacked in his favor, and Team Martis are actually falling down. It has all kind of come down to Flint to somehow take his squad to survive for as long as possible. I think the only problem here, Necro, was the fact that they did not have vehicles and they had to rotate.
I mean, this is where actually one of the more important, as we talk about the pillars, as soon as you drop down, you need to contest those vehicles for those rotations, and which is where Martis definitely fell back. And then having a player like Ninja just jumping around in the open fields is definitely going to be punishing your team a lot much more. I feel like in getting spotted, Ninja was definitely the main key over there, where Martis actually fell in trouble a lot much more. But as we talk about NRZ showing fearless aggression in front of Martis, and Martis was definitely the team that won the previous chicken dinner, and if they go down early this time, it's going to be embarrassing.
Yeah, it's going to be embarrassing for sure, but Big Boss, these guys, they've been having a consistent run, even in Miramar, not having the top 3, but still 4th, 5th position, that was fine. Now we've got the players of Sauce. They're having a nightmare out there. Not really coming out on top in any single game. Not really clicking off. They start off well with winning a few skirmishes here and there, but later on they kind of fizzle out.
Indeed, they do kind of fizzle out. But also, I feel like Fahim can actually get in a better better position.
What is he trying?
Scout out the compound, and it seems like he's
he's just being cautious, I guess.
Yeah, he's just being cautious, but at the same time, there is like sometimes you're just paranoid about each and every compound, and you just want to watch out. Yeah, of course it's better if you're just gonna be watching out for everything. But my favorite gun is on the map and on the table over here, which is gonna be Groza.
Oh, wait.
Seems like they're... wait,
Who was the team right now? Are they coming for it? No.
No. They're actually going away from it. I think so it was Team Hyper.
Uh, I mean, if it was Team Hyper, they should have actually gone for it. And it was the players of Bhai Brothers. So I think they should actually go for the Groza, because the kind of damage this weapon possesses, as we see the circle kind of closing in, and again, this is going to be really tricky, because now a lot of positions are going to be in question as to where the circle is going to go down. I think it might be going somewhere down where the players of Golden Stallion are. They're kind of in the epicenter, and they're being on the safe side, because a lot of people kind of say at the end of the day, the zone kind of base is based on luck. But the hardcore players, the number crunchers, they know that it's all analytics, it's all analysis, it's all algorithms that you need to figure yourself out. And how do you do that? You got to play a lot of games. You need to understand the zone. You need to understand the shift of the zone. And that's a good sign of an IGL. Now now the Chinese teams, now the Southeast Asian teams have sort of mastered and have kind of understood that if this kind of a circle pops up, if the zone is shifting towards this side, then the reducents will be different. But let me get back to a fight, as we have the players of Bhai Brothers going against AGT9.
Exactly, indeed. Only one player from Bhai Brothers has been caught off guard, and Yamin Bhai is going to be going down. Unfortunate for Yamin, they're getting it. He was just trying to scout out the compound, making sure the compound was clear. But I still feel like, which is a pretty common sense in this one, because this is one of the most popular compounds. Yeah. And of course, it's not going to be just like free of players. So I feel like he should have brought some backup with him. But also, as we take a look at AGT9, Dragon's going to be smoking his car out, and they also have gotten a free car from Bhai Brothers.
Yeah, and they were just pocket and safe place. So right now we've got the players of AGT9. So they've spotted the players of Predators, and Fahim, he was really paranoid about having teams nearby his compounds, but kind of did not really pay a lot of attention towards this hilly area, which is also a very good spot, because you've got those tips to work around, you've got those covers that you can play around with. But finally, Insane has been spotted out. He needs to get back into cover. He's done that knock. He's sent a message, but this is where he backs off.
Of course, this is where he backs off as well. But SLX, GR Koa is also down on really low HP. I feel like he should focus on getting his HP first, then actually contesting those fights, which is he's going to be going for. Seems like a way much more mature and a clever decision to do. And Yashiro seems like he's just going to be prone around. It's actually quite funny to watch when these guys are just like proning behind the cars, and also like, trying to spot anyone from the gap beneath the car tires as well. But yeah, just like SLX over here has a decent amount of range, as long as they are not getting flanked. But as we take a look, there is a team right behind them, and if they spot SLX here, there might be a massive trouble situation coming up for SLX. But also seems like they have the cover from another ridge, which is going to be in their back. So I feel like if the team behind them definitely wants to contest them, they will have to get a better positioning over here. But it seems like Tassin has a better just angle all over the place, and he's going to be using a Scar L6X this time. A pretty unique choice coming in, but I don't really know if I support this kind of combo over here.
The thing with the Scar...
Bolt action. Did I just hear M24?
Was that a knock?
No,
that was not a knock. Coming again back to the discussion about Scarl. So lately, Scarl and 4x had been popular in, I think, the previous meta, because this gun has a huge sway up ahead in the the horizon. I think it's the vertical recoil that really kicks in. So a lot of teams, what they do is they start off aiming from the upper body, and after those two shots, it goes directly to the head. So kind of gets you that crisp headshots that you need to connect. You ending things off with the headshot. And the teams that have really mastered, a few of the players, I must say, have really mastered it. And a lot of Indian teams were and a lot of Indian players, we'd seen them in contention over there to kind of really use the Scarl to its maximum potential. But then again, in those mid-ranges, I would any day prefer my good old M416, and that's what these players have been doing. But it is what it is. You do not always get the guns, and it comes down to a personal preference whatsoever.
Indeed, I feel like one of the most worst feels that you can get is like putting the suppressor on the M4. I don't know why. It just feels like like
kind of very
the fire
off.
rate
Yeah.
drops. You feel like the fire rate is kind of low, but of course it's not the case. The fire rate is just the same, but just the feel of the gun overall feels kind of weird, and just doesn't really feel right. But also, as we talk about, Pipe Brothers are crumbling down like breadcrumbs. Just like slowly and steadily. They are not really having a good time in their life, and it seems like Finisher is going to be taking a little bit of different angle, and it's not really going to be quite able to help his teammate out because if Finisher, if Zeta goes down, he's the only one going to be staying alive for his team. But also, as we talk about, Thunder has been knocked down, and as he sees Zombie trying to go for Thunder. Really bad decision coming in from Zombie there. He should have at least smoked himself out. As long as he doesn't have those smoke and the utilities, I feel like he should have contested that flight against Clad and then try to get this res in, but doesn't really seem like he's going to be bothering to do that and going to get caught off guard in the rotation. As we talk about, it's going to be fight between Clad and Darkit. Darkit doesn't really seem like he wants to contest the fight. At the same time, Clad is going to be busy looting. Also, Clad is actually quite down on low HP, going to be taking down Thunder, confirming his kills on the Zombie as well. Doesn't really seem like he's going to be able to confirm those kills.
But now he's a man on the mission. He needs to get that grenade being connected onto him. But Darkade applying so much heavy pressure has... Oh my goodness, Ironclad, that beautiful, beautiful nade onto his Alpha 49 as he just got right back on his feet. He was just healing up. Again, that Gren comes in. Now, I think Darkade has sort of given away his position. It's just going to be a matter of seconds. If he does have one more grenade to play around with, he did deploy that, but certainly not in the right direction. So... he knows that he can play really well, and if he kind of manages to clutch this one out, that's going to be a 1v4. But finally, King comes in as a backup and will wipe out the last player. And with that, Max Esports did manage to get those 5 kills out of this one, but at the cost of 2 players.
It did at the cost of 2 players. That's going to be costing him a lot much more, and a lot much more... just a disturbance overall. But as we talk about that, Zoss 1971 has been eliminated out of the game. Unfortunate turn of events. Also, Squad BD71 Omega has been eliminated as well. What are your views on these 2 massive teams just crumbling off this early on? But also, let me complete. Airdrop number 3 is in, and my favorite gun as well, M4... MK14 has dropped in as well. Imagine a combo with Groza and MK14. Oh my god, that would be a deadliest combo alive on the planet.
I mean, that would be an ideal situation. And we've seen teams, if they're lucky, we've seen in different situations. But getting back to the fight in hand, oh my goodness, Piol still going berserk, but it's Arceus that's gonna put a stop at him. But no, his teammates, I heard, they're gonna push in tandem any single moment as they're going against the players of Team Wolves. Now, Wolves need to do something to stay alive, but at the same time, Alert really not overstepping over there because he realizes the gravity of the situation. The moment he goes up, that's when the players of God's Reborn are gonna strike. But still, he's making those bold moves. That's Leo, and he does spot out Arceus. But now, no, he's gonna go in for the chase any single time, and he'll get that sweet loot for himself. And we gotta see how is Hyper gonna take this one out.
Well, I feel like the knockdown was actually stuck between the buggy, but also as we talk about, NRZ is in a really bad spot as well. But Daddy is trying his best to survive in certain kind of situations, which are going to be a lot much more crucial situations. Getting that first aid off is a big for him, and as a must, as we talk about the SLX, Zoro going to be taking him down as well. Zoro is really barely alive. If Zoro has been taken down, it's going to be such a bad situation for him. Yashiro medkitting himself up, really down to low HP. Yashiro trying his best, bursting the car down, but not going to be getting anything done. Zero trying his best to survive, getting shot. Zero, unfortunate situation, just getting caught off guard by Yashiro. Beautiful, staying alert.
Finally channeling his inner demons. That's Yashiro, and finally stepping up for his team as somehow God's Reborn are still inside the game. But this is the team that we are looking out for because they're already sitting on top over there with 3 kills already and having all their 4 players alive. And Big Boss X being eliminated, another huge shocker out there. But I think the members of Team Hyper have set their target, and this time it's those 2 players of God's Reborn.
Exactly, it's just going to be those last two players left. As we take a look at HyperX Alert, going to be smoking himself out, getting a little bit of better position inside those late circle. Of course, we all know how important those late circle positionings are, while also taking a look at SLX GR1. Seems like he is just going to be proning inside the circle, and there are so many utilities being used, there are so many nades. Look at Yashiro, are you scared of throwing those nades, getting on top of the rock and just throwing it like as if he's just not scared of anyone? He's just teasing everyone for his head. He's like, just like, you know, try to tap my head. Come on, do it. He's just peeking out, just going back inside cover, just over and over again. And Hyper Leo wanted to get the headshot onto him, but it doesn't really seem like he is going to be getting that chocolate anytime soon.
I mean, the only reason why he could go was because he knew that there's no one behind them. But look at Alert. I do not know what he's going to do so, because he's been knocked out, you know, right off walking into it. Yashiro has been taken down. Leo has also been spotted out. It's just a one-man squad right now, and there you go, Pure getting that final kill confirmed. But look at the shift of the circle, the way it's going in. Golden Stallion finding themselves in a very, very good spot. But at the same time, this is pure genius from the players of Team Hyper. You know, bait one of your players out, gives enough room and opportunity for the other players to kind of rotate in, and that's where they are striking, and they got another squad wiped out.
Of course, a beautiful, lonely airdrop coming in as well. As if we take a look just to spice things up, doesn't really seem like anyone's going to be going for. But as we also take a look at PXBit having a little bit of crucial advantage inside the zone, is definitely going to be like, you know, just supporting them a lot much more. But just take a look at Hyper here. Hyper have been surviving since a really long time inside Erangel, and they actually do have a decent amount of cover, while at the same time they do have those buggies coming in just for those fast rotations, as we like to talk about. But KSX Mehraz seems like he's just going to be holding his compound, watching the whole Hyper squad just leave, while just trying to still, you know, spot anyone out if they are still going to be doing those late rotation and just taking those random shots. And yeah, so by Brothers being eliminated, a big squad being eliminated, unfortunate turn of situations coming in for them. And also, as we take a look at PXBit, Fahim, he has a massive opportunity on his hands now. He needs to res his teammate, all at the same time also take his team in some safe spot inside the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Now KSX, they've got to make their way in, and I think the only reason why they did that is because, of course, they did not want anyone behind. They're going to take down a few players here and there. They're going to make their position very soon, and in fact the time is going to tell as to how they're going to play. But now Golden Stallion, this is going to spell trouble for them. They're being surrounded by a few teams. You know, they're going to engage with one, someone else is going to take them down. But Dragon, looking at him, he's taking a dig at the players of Predators. So we're going to see as to how this final fights emerge out, because this is a pretty open circle, a few riches to play around, and a lot of teams in contention. It's 20 players still battling it out for that one chicken dinner.
One thing we didn't really notice, GSES has been showing an absolute phenomenal gameplay this whole map. And one of their players, Ryan, is definitely one who is taking those kills and also racking up those kills for his team. But also, as we take a look at that, there are so many teams alive over here. Like Hyper, we definitely did not expect this team to show up in these top 5 situations. And yeah, if Hyper actually managed to get at least in top 4, it's definitely going to be more interesting to see how they're going to be capitalizing on these fights, because we have been seeing Hyper just showing that ruthless aggression all over and over and over again. So I am a lot more interested in seeing how they're going to be capitalizing on map Erangel.
I mean, they've still got one more day to play, and if they continue this kind of a momentum, then we are looking for them maybe possibly towards qualifying for the regional finals. But no, things are starting to fall short as Pure also goes down. But look at the players of Max. Somehow they're keeping each other alive. Already 8 kills collected. Now, if they get that revive onto its king, this is good. Now, Ironclad making a push. It's Leo who is the last man surviving from his squad. He's not really committed for the revive. No, make that wrong. Make it 2. And they've got another player. That's Sankey. So we got to see as to how Hyper is going to play this final circle out, as again Ironclad finding out Leo, and now he's estranged. Now he's going to get those kills. He's got to get those confirmations, as Hyper, they are reduced to a one-man team.
Indeed, they are reduced to a one-man team, but at the same time, yeah, this man is not going to be staying quiet. While we also take a look at him just trying to burst that Dacia out. Doesn't really seem like it's going to be going down anytime soon, though. But I feel like Sanhok should also burst his Dacia out as well, because there are going to be a lot more teams just trying to burst that Dacia out, and that might put him in a really uncomfortable situation. AGXT9 going down. What are your thoughts on that team?
I mean, AGT9, again, the consistency really being shown up, and that's a really good display. But Fahim did manage to get that knock onto its Akil, but of course, they did manage to get traded off over there. You know, Max Esports, despite the fact that they do not have the numbers, but so much good control being shown over from there. But Golden Stallions, they have been the silent bunch, still haven't gotten even a single kill so far. We've got to see if they can edge this one out, if they can get the chicken dinner. But Sanhok, kind of getting all his experience in that he has, did manage to get that knock, but will also be traded off.
These are top 5 teams as we take a look. 13 players alive, and definitely are going to be going in minus as the zone keeps on shrinking. A lot much more spamming going in, a lot much more suppression shots happening as well. Well, we also take a look at that. Fahim, what are you doing? This man is just on an absolute domination, on an absolute just Cloud9 right now. This man is just doing so good, as we also take a look at Ryan's just trying to do any kind of lethal amount of damage. While we take a look at that, KS Axe has been eliminated out of the games as well. Now it's just Collad, just, you know, crouching around, just like, you know, proning around all over the place. Also trying to use the painkillers as well, but not going to be getting enough time because the zone is just moving right behind him. He needs to contest a position inside the circle, but there are 2 people right on his right side. If he decides to actually go a little bit to the right, he might just get in a fight anytime soon. While we also take a look at GSES, they are not scared of anything. They have one of their players going knockdown, also take a lethal amount of damage. Going to be proning instantly. Does not want to give his knockdown away. What a shot coming from Collad, taking those 2 massive knockdowns for his team. What is happening?
He is a monster who does not want to stop anytime soon. I mean, this match has gone completely nuts with the way Team Max have been playing. Now they find themselves in the 2nd position. Now still a chance to win. It's a 2v3. But look at the players of Predator. They're well spread out. Now we have to see what is Clad up to. He's done it so far. He is the man. I mean, there are going to be legends told about this player. About how he's been playing, going after squads again. A beautiful knock, following it up. Now it's the last player from Team Predators, that's Stalker, but he is in a 1v2 situation. The stacks have changed, the tides have turned as the push is on. Can Stalker hold himself off as Clad is just peppering down those bullets? He's spraying him down. Stalker still has a chance to survive. Looking at King, he's still damaging him out, but Stalker, he needs to heal himself up as King is continuing the spray. Can he pull this one though? And yes, they do. Max Esports, what a beautiful chicken dinner.
Of course, that was an absolute fascinating thing to watch, as we also watched you yelling for the first time in your life. Well, that was an iconic moment in itself. I have never seen you yell so hard. And as we also take a look at Max securing those big numbers, 32 points for them with 17 kills.
Oh my goodness, it's moments like this that we cast for. It's moments like this that we live for. I mean, you've got a player who's got nothing to lose. He's fearless, but everything to prove. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Max Esports did. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what Ironclad did today. I mean, the kind of a gameplay that he had been showing right from the first game. I mean, this was coming, right? This was coming. And nobody really thought that, okay, so they are a 2-man squad. Can they pull this one off? But, you know, they went in squads after squads. They were taking 1 step at a time. You know, they were baby steps, which eventually resulted into them getting a lot of kills, going after squads. I mean, getting so much done. And look at the cojones. He made such bold moves. He was fearless, relentless, as he just went after the players of Golden Stars. And taking a look at the MVP, I'm pretty sure who it's gonna be. It's Ironclad for the 3rd time. 9 kills and 1280 damage. I mean, 3 times out of 4 games, he is the MVP. He's been the man.
Of course, as we were talking about Blood Legions having 2 of their fraggers, but seems like Max Esports just need that 1 fragger for themselves, and he is just going to be filling out positions for everyone. He is just going to be the apex predator. He is just going to be mowing everyone down if he just keeps on playing like this, even in the future events.
Oh my goodness, he just shredded everyone in the lobby, whoever may it be. And I think now the players of Blood Legion, if they are watching from the sidelines, they are going to be looking out for him. He's like, who is this player? Who is this guy? And wow, what a performance. But let's take a look at the other top players. I mean, we cannot still disregard, because it was King in the end who managed to get the final kill. He managed to stay with his teammate and he got those 8 kills. 9 plus 18, do the math, 17. And that's the number of kills that they got.
Exactly. I mean, oh my god, that's so many points in one game. Fix this. It's not a joke. Securing so many points for yourself. And just look at the damage numbers. 1280 damage. What are you doing, you absolute monster?
I mean, we've been talking so much about Ironclad that I believe, you know, we've kind of underrated King over here. But, you know, the kind of support, the kind of, you know, a player that the perfect partner that you need. He was the one.
I mean, look at King's number. We are not going to call him support. He has 8 kills with 1208 damage. How is that man a support? That man is not a support. I feel like he's more kind of like the second fragger that we were searching for.
So what was the case over here, as they were a duo, right? So it was Ironclad making all those risky moves, and it was him from the backlines providing that cover. So I think the anchor would be a right word for him over here with the kind of a gameplay that it provided. Because on the backlines, you certainly get that much amount of room and space to do that, and he did that to perfection. But let's take a look at the match summary and see what we have got in front of us. And wow, I mean, I need to take a breather.
Same. I mean, we both were yelling since a really long time, Fixes. But also, like, Max's King, what are you doing? 3 assists also, man. This man is... These two have been putting on an absolute show, and I am actually so happy that I'm casting these two lads. These two lads are absolute apex predators and beasts we have been noticing since a long time. But also now, Blood Legions have to watch out. They are going up against a tough competition if they actually want to survive. Now, they might just have... You know, they have been shaken a little bit. They have been shaken a little bit by the earthquake that these guys have caused, and now Blood Legions definitely has to watch out in the future tournaments.
Yeah, of course. I mean, now Blood Legion, they're sitting on the tippity top. They are but they're kind of untouchables, right? Up and unless they kind of mess up the last day. But you know, coming to the fact that, you know, once you're heading into the regional finals, that's where the points are going to be reset. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the match rankings as we carry on with the conversation that we have in hand. Max Esports, of course, getting those 17 kills, chicken, 32 points out of just that one game. But nothing taken away from Predator. I mean, they did decently well. But Hyper Gaming, I mean, look at them. They were at the 31st position, but now, every single game, they are going aggressive. They are getting those kill points. And last time, I think they got a lot of kills. They were lacking on the position points. But this time, they made up for it.
But I feel like this was still the last game, so I feel like they are still quite far below in the leaderboards as we talk about. They still need to contest that top 10 spot, and it doesn't really seem like they're not going to be quite successfully do that. But of course, in the upcoming days, they are going to be able to contest that top 10 spot. And of course, I do have my eyes on Hyper as well. If they just keep on playing how they played in the Miramar and stuff like that, they are definitely going to be having a show for us here at Wishnet. But also the Chicken Dinner team, how can we forget them?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's just get into our lovely Oppo moments.
I want to see them.
You know, we could also call it the Ironclad and the King moments. The Clad and King moments.
Clad and King moments, exactly.
Oppo moments?
This was my favorite moment right there. I don't care what happened the whole game. That was my favorite. Ninja was so confident that he was like, you know what? No one's going to be there, you know? I don't really care. I am the best. And he just gets knocked down. He's still Imagine you're in the heads of Ninja, right? You're full of spirits. You're feeling confident about yourself. You're just jumping around, and suddenly, bam! He's done. He's on the ground. It's just like you have fallen down from the skies instantly.
But, you know, no, let's just get back into what we did see. I mean, it was pure brilliance coming out from, the players of Max Esports. But nothing taken away from Hyper. I mean, they've suddenly picked up the pace and they're doing really well. And I really want to see how much has this impacted on the overall ranking. But... wow, I mean, the players of Max, I mean, with every single squad, the way they engaged, it was so mesmerizing. Look at the confidence. I mean, in these certain situations, you have the professional players kind of trying to, deal with just the hip fire, but he still switched to the ADS because he knew that, Beryl kind of throws you off. The kind of a sway that you get from that gun, it kind of goes heather and heather. So he did manage to pick up the ADS up. He did manage to connect the shots. Did of course get knocked out in the end, but it was King who did come out on top. And what a game!
But as you were talking about, Beryl just giving that more sway and more recoil. Also, we cannot forget that it also has more fire rate at the same time. It does a lethal amount of damage, and it did show up in the end.
Yeah, of course. But now let's take a look at the overall rankings as we will be continuing with our conversation as we have XP Blood Legion. But Max, look at the kind of climb that they've made. 78 points. But now, I really feel that fight with Golden Stallions was kind of sketchy. The reason being why? Because Golden Stallions have not been engaging in any single fight. They were focusing so much on survival that, you must have seen those cases when you kind of try to play defensive, your hands kind of go cold. You've got Ironclad on the other hand. He's been battling it out against every single squad. He was so confident with his aim. He knew exactly what he had to do, and he absolutely did that.
Of course, Ironclad, no matter how much we keep on talking about this man, it's going to be less all the time. But let's give the spotlight to a little bit for the other teams as well. Yeah. NRZ did try their best, also went down in really unfortunate circumstances. They didn't really have that best of the cover coming in for them. But yeah, they kept on trying best. Of course, hats off to NRZ as well for trying best, because I saw them. They definitely try to play as well as they can. But look at these teams.
Hyper! Look at Hyper. They were on the 31st position. Now they're kind of climbing up. With one more day to go. If they continue performing like this, I believe, I'm a dreamer, because the margin of difference is not that too much. It's just 2 or 3 games and 2 or 3 consistent games that you need to make it into the top 16.
Of course. I mean, yeah, but it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy, but we are dreamers, right? We are dreamers.
Yeah, we are dreamers, and so indeed they are. But bringing our dream and their dream on the table is going to be their job. So it's like our mentality is also in their hands, because we definitely have the eyes on Hyper, and we all know they are some of the best teams that we have to witness as well. But Hyper hasn't really been able to show up since these past few days. But today in Miramar and even in Erangel, they were able to show up. But also in Erangel, they weren't really able to get those just a lot much more eliminations or even kills in. But I'm pretty sure in upcoming days, Hyper is going to be showing us a lot much more better gameplay.
Yeah, of course. But now I really want to take a look at the kill leaders. I really have a hunch that I'm gonna find our boy Ironclad over there. But no, that's not the case over here, because Dominic, Gyro, Mamba, Cherry Head, they're like
the same from yesterday.
Hey, buddy, not yet.
Not yet. You're not on our level yet. You're not on our level yet. But yeah, these guys are just immovable and impeccable as we talk about. But look at Mamba's damage, 5,136.
I mean, we did touch upon it. I think the only reason that Ironclad is not here in the list is because Max did not really pop off in the first day. Whereas all these teams, they were kind of consistent over the 2 days that they played. So I think if tomorrow or day after, if they sort of kind of play a very good game of PUBG Mobile, maybe there's a slight possibility that Ironclad can make his way in. And considering the form that he's in right now, I would not be surprised.
One thing I can definitely assure you, that Max are definitely going to be having some of the best sleep tonight. They're going to be so relieved after this, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be partying it out tonight.
I mean, you deserve that. Kind of a chicken dinner. I mean, it completely, I'm having adrenaline pumping through my body, surging. And, well, I mean, this is why we love this game so much. This is why we love to cast these games. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally done with all our matches for the evening, as we will be taking your leave. But we will be back tomorrow again, same place, same time. So, till then, bye-bye. Take care.
Let's get it.